online. Let me check it out. I hope I'm sounding good. Oh my gosh. Yep, we are live. Awesome. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Um,
Greetings.
I have a new person. His name is Astronaut Headman. Hello down there. And
Hey, I think that's me, yeah?
yeah.
All right.
I'd yeah, go ahead and introduce yourselves and what you're doing here. You know.
Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, third guy. What do I actually call you? I don't want to, like, name drop you if you don't.
Viktor, that's fine.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Victor, you go first. I want to go second.
Hello, everyone. I am a huge fan of Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 2, and just Fallout in general, I would say. So I was very disappointed when I saw the show. And I kind of feel like I'm going crazy sometimes because I feel like this is the largest case of mass psychosis that I've ever seen. I don't understand the appeal that is going on with the show, but I'm perfectly fine with being in the minority. It's not the first time.
So what
All
do
right,
you?
yeah.
I mean, what's Not only do you like Fallout, you've seen the show, but like what do you do as a person on the internet? Like
As a person on the internet, I
yeah.
generally just poke fun at things that I find to be funny, or silly, or stupid.
So you make
Uh,
oh, I mean like
I
what's
I really I I was gonna say it's not
sorry.
nothing formal or professional.
Sure.
Uh, I'm no
Memes?
expert.
You make memes?
Yeah, just basically just
Yeah.
make memes for fun. The
Yeah.
latest ship post that I made for Fallout, the Fallout TV show, are some of the most popular videos on my tiny channel of 400 subscribers.
Yo.
As one of them especially has just I don't know what the fuck happened. I made a short of it, and it just randomly got like thousands of I think it's
Holy
like tens of
crap.
thousands of views now, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like 5,000 likes. I'm like, what the hell? It's still getting comments. Of like most of them are
It's
just
man, that just
most of
reminds
them are
me.
just the most
Oh, sorry.
mundane shit. But yeah, that's my story. I'm not that serious.
And you're sticking to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Mr. Ficus? What's your purpose here today?
All right, yeah. So I watched, let's see, I put thousands of hours into Fallout 4 because I really like building shacks. Played
Sure.
3 New Vegas. And when I watch the show, it's the props look great, and there's at least one character in it, and I see why people enjoy it. I'm the good faith guy. I'm willing to give it some credit. Most of it is absolute shit, really awful, really bad. But there's a thing or two, maybe a grand total of like 45 seconds in that show that I think is pretty good. So sticking to that. There's some
Wow.
positive.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Of
it
seconds.
is a lot.
So what I'm getting at is like you made a video on Fallout on the TV show.
Oh, yeah. I threw together a review of the whole thing. It's like an hour. I tried to. So
Nice.
what the show does is it skips back and forth across the timeline and across different plots so that you get a little taste of everything as it moves forward, and so it can like save its big reveals for the end. But I think that also got people to kind of glaze over some of the problems. So what I tried to do in my video is set it out chronologically, starting from the beginning and then moving all the way through. And when you look at it like that, it's like, wow, this is how did we get here?
um, well, I'm here today because I'm the host, but um, my name is Mr. Captain Falco now. It's no longer Guardian Falco, but hey, whatever. I still put them in my tags, so it's fine. But okay, so I'll set myself up as like I'm not a fan of Fallout. I'm not really interested in Fallout. So that's like the TV show. Like, yeah, I'll wait for like reviews, and then I go online. Then it's like everyone loves it, and I'm like, wait, huh? So I'm like, but then I noticed something, and that like in the corner of the internet, and it's people on the on like Mahler's Discord was like they hate it, and I'm like, why do they hate it? Because like, oh, the lore, and I'm like, yeah, but then I tried to steer the conversation toward like, but how is it internally consistent? Like what is the is it is it okay with itself? Like is does it even though maybe inconsistent, and maybe it's like Hill House, where it's like they took the names and places, but it's still really good by itself. Like it's a isolated show, and people are saying no, it's not. So I'm like, oh, so how come the rest of the internet is going nuts over it? Like they're pricing it to heck and back, and I was like, well, and I heard it from you, Master Ficus. Well, that because it looks pretty, the props and all that stuff. So that's the only thing I could get from it.
The special effects are really great. When the
Mhm.
nukes go off, it looks really good. They put a lot of money into that.
Amazon has more
All
money,
the
yeah.
they
Yeah,
have a
it
ton of
does
money.
look
Yeah,
good.
they made all the sounds from the guns firing sound really good,
Mm.
and their props, they took items from in the game and then they replicated them and they built models. There's no CGI or very little CGI for the power armor, so the power armor looks, well, mostly okay, with a
Mostly
few
okay. Yeah,
exceptions, but
yeah. I saw
looks pretty good.
I
So
saw
they
that.
put their money
Oh,
towards
sorry.
that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, you're
interrupt.
good.
But the whole thing of like I saw the power armor lifting up when its head, because you have to see the actor's head. And
Okay.
and of
Yeah,
course
that was
like
silly.
what it looks up a flap, and I'm like, that's really not well designed. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of my nitpicks, I do call them nitpicks with the
Mhm.
aesthetics, is the fact that it's it's mostly just adapting Fallout 4, all the aesthetic from Fallout 4,
Yep,
and
I agree.
I mean, I mean, I put a lot of hours into Fallout 4. Haven't played it recently. Uh, I think I tried to play it last year, and I encountered a game-breaking bug before I got into the power armor, and I just gave up.
Mm.
But yeah, it's they certainly look good. Just not my it's super subjective. Not my favorite Fallout aesthetic.
Mhm.
More a fan of the older games.
Well, what I've sort of gotten from Fallout is the same thing I sort of get from when I played Skyrim. It was just I didn't feel like I was going anywhere. It's like there's a whole this space, but why am I exploring this space? It's like, well, to do interesting things. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel very limited of what I'm able to do. Like there's it and the game doesn't feel that good to play, like for me. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
why would I want to do that in another game that has guns? And I'm like, I don't. Like, yeah,
Well,
I'm just gonna skip it.
for a while for me, I thought like, well, maybe I've just my tastes have changed and how I approach video games is different. Because back when I was playing
Hmm.
Fallout 4 when it came out, I was playing Skyrim a lot. I was playing Fallout 4 a
Hmm.
lot. I was playing a lot of games, kind of just for the whole appeal of like turn off your brain, listen to the music, and kill things,
True.
and like and loot and explore, and
Hmm.
that's kind of what Fallout 4 and Skyrim are really good at, if you want to say that. But
Hmm.
then I picked up New Vegas properly in
Hmm.
2016, and then when I went back to Fallout 4, I found myself being very bored. I actually
Hmm.
finished the story even when I was really into Fallout 4 because I don't know, it was kind of like Skyrim actually, the same effect where I was like, this is really uninteresting.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna stop doing this and go do anything else.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had that very similar reaction to Skyrim. I was like, and then when I
and
played another kind of open world game, it was quite different. Um, where it's like you need to be able to like go into point A to point B. Has to be somewhat engaging. So how do you make it
well,
engaging? Yeah,
I
it's
think
sort of a thing.
I just started replaying a lot of the older RPGs that I loved, and
Hmm.
like Dragon Age, BioWare RPGs like
Oh
Dragon Age
boy.
and Mass Effect,
Hmm.
KOTOR, and I started realizing I'm really engaged with the story in these. I wonder why that
Oh
is.
yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, because it's written.
A
Like
lot
it's
of and
yeah,
it's like
it's
a
well
lot of the
written.
side quests were really well written as
Hmm.
well, and they tie you into and they make you want to explore to find the story. It wasn't,
Hmm.
oh, explore this part of the map and you might find a rare item.
Yeah,
That wasn't the appeal.
I don't mind that. Like
It wasn't
there's
until I
you
looked
know
back and I'm like, oh, is it just that my tastes have changed, or that the games are poor quality, or is it both? And it turns out it's a mix of both.
yeah. I think it's just change like it's probably 10% changing taste, and then the other 90% is like no, it's just poor quality. Like
Mhm.
but yeah, so oh yeah, the reason why we're here is because so we want to know what makes it so good. And the Actman put out a video saying, "Wow, it's really good. It's incredibly good." So like, okay, we have three naysayers. I should say like I'm a neutral. We have two naysayers. Like
Get that jelly mold out of here.
get that chili. Uh, so anywho, I think we should go ahead and get to the main event. I think.
If we must.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch that. And all right, here we go.
The video game television adaptations, how they turn out can often feel like Lady Luck flipping a coin.
You've made your last delivery, kid.
Arcane, Edge Runners, The Last of Us, all landed on heads. And then you have... Oh my goodness! And of course there's the fiasco with Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher show. So when I heard that there was a Fallout TV...
Okay.
I'm sorry. If we go
Mhm.
back like 2 seconds, I don't know how to do that on this. To
Oh.
the power armor scene.
Let me. Oh, hold on.
You've made
Let's
your
just start
last
over.
delivery, kid.
Arcane, Edge Runners, The
All right,
Last
I
of
will
Us,
pause.
all landed on
Super
heads.
on point
And
here.
then you have... Oh my goodness!
Sorry.
And of course there's the fiasco with Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher show. So when I heard that there was a Fallout TV series...
I'm trying to stop it. It won't stop.
You gotta press
We're
the play.
both
You gotta press
pausing.
the play button
Oh,
instead of the
okay.
screen. Watch together. Very specific.
Well, I'm trying to find
Right,
it.
you're in control of
I'm
pausing.
I'm trying to drag it. I'm sorry.
So when I heard...
Right there.
There we go.
Okay.
Mhm.
If you guys are looking at that, this is what I was talking about with it mostly holds up. On the chest plate, they got the little symbol, and then to the
Mhm.
right of it, they have a burn mark where it cut around like a bullet or laser or something. They're all identical. This is all one suit of armor. They only made the one suit
True.
of armor.
True. It is very.
I,
Isn't that just fucking
It's too
lazy?
uniform
I
for its
thought
own good.
I was gonna say that's why this is another reason why I got really annoyed that I'm like, so they just cloned the T60 when that was probably, even by Bethesda's lore, the rarest set of armor because it was only developed right like just at the end of the war. Whereas I'm like, this is a missed opportunity to showcase different sets of power armor. I don't even care. Like, throw the T60 in there.
Like
But
have
why not
like
have like ones
yeah,
from Fallout 1 and 2, Fallout 3,
or
Fallout
like a
New Vegas?
retrograde one for like
I don't know.
it's
Why
like
not?
we're gonna send you out for your first mission in order to test your metal. You're gonna go out in this haphazard one. Like any chances to turn up the video? Oh, okay. Let me. I'll probably have to turn up it on OBS. I apologize. Let me go.
I'm more okay with like the Brotherhood of Steel all using the same set of power armor because since Fallout 4 is also canon, and this is I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but this is the the group from Fallout 4 because they're using the same airship. It makes sense that they're all using the same power armor that they were using in that game, which is where you can talk about what they changed in the show versus the game with the power armor. But just on its face of it, I'm cool with all of these power armor suits being the same model. My issue more is that these are all in really good shape, all the same
Yes.
type. They're all identical or whatever, which tells us that the Brotherhood of Steel is like on top of its like supply lines, its production, its resources, and that has never been a thing. It's never. They don't have farms. They don't have food. They don't have an apartment building. They have the only thing they have is a military born out of nothing.
Well, I'm less familiar with the Eastern chapter. I know that this has to be the Eastern chapter because the Western chapter was basically on the brink of annihilation in New Vegas, or at least their numbers had dwindled to the point where there was just a handful pockets of them. But even so, I don't remember the Eastern Brotherhood exhibiting certain behaviors and certain mantras that this brotherhood follows. It didn't seem to line up to me, but maybe I've just been engrossed too much with the Western Brotherhood faction. So who knows? Maybe everything in the show is completely in line with the East Coast Brotherhood.
Also,
The
sorry.
The East Coast Brotherhood is schizophrenic. In 3, they're the good guys who appear out of nowhere to save the Commonwealth and save everybody, and they're all wonderful and great. And then Fallout 4, they're mutant-hating people who are also there to help people, kind of, but not really. And now they're all religious zealots, and they're all the same Brotherhood. Bethesda cannot make up their mind. They come up with... I think the current excuse is that,
no
these
way.
are factions, these are splinters, these are... I don't know. It just... Yeah,
I think that is
Bethesda
the running...
Brotherhood, schizophrenic.
I think that's the running logic, yeah, so that they can basically just invent a new chapter to justify, like, what do we want to do with the Brotherhood this time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not just make a new faction?
Also, these look like predators. Like, from the top, from the shoulders, from the helmet. Like, I don't know. That's I guess it's just
like
me.
The Predator?
Yeah. It looks like the Predator mask. Yeah.
I guess if you've never played a Fallout game, I could kind of see that, but like remember, like the Predator, I just posted a GIF. But everyone
I
watching,
can't see it.
if you don't know what the Predator looks like, you're a bad person, first of all. But second of all,
yes.
In my mind, I can't even draw any similarities.
Oh, I'm just the more I look at, the more it's like I understand it's not. I'm fine. But yeah, I'm just like,
It's more like I guess my association would be more I don't know, Halo armor for making like like very far kind of assumption assumptions like that.
Halo has a more Halo has a more unified and more sleek design. This is bulky.
It's more like a mech suit, actually.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's literal power armor. So yes, it's a mech suit. But anyways, let's
so
get back
it doesn't look like an Iron Man suit. Is that what you're saying?
No, it doesn't.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, it even looks like the Ironmonger suit.
Iron Man looks more like Master
it
Chief.
Shouldn't have a flip-up visor or little hand thrusters.
No, that wouldn't make any sense. Because it's radiation and toxic fumes outside, and you need an air tank inside.
I wish that the visor was the worst part of this Brotherhood armor that we see in the show. Unfortunately.
Oh, you mean the part where they where that guy takes like sniper shots at him and they automatically get disabled? Like
no, I'm thinking about that one scene where Team Rocket's blasting off again.
Oh, I guess I didn't see that part. But still,
I had to rack my mind. It was like, which problem are you talking about? I'm thinking
honestly, Ficus, you probably have picked up a few more problems than I have, but I'm specifically referring to after he fights the ghoul in episode 2, and then he goes jettisoning off into the air.
He gets into a 50 mile per hour collision with the ground, and it's totally fine. Yeah.
I mean, that's not how the jetpacks have ever worked, but all right, sure.
He acts like a Mandalorian.
I don't know. It's not like the armor is like 5 tons.
Hmm.
Sure.
But anyways, let's get back to the video so we can respond in
Yeah,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Heard that there was a Fallout TV series in production. Well, I was a little skeptical, but those skepticisms were laid to rest, and the only thing I could say was,
What in the goddamn?
I expected the Fallout TV series to be
I want to go by Rotten Tomatoes. That's exactly a thing I should go by. Oh,
I'm
I
not even gonna fault him for that.
yeah.
He says
I
much
noticed
worse.
that too, and I'm like, huh. Popularity means it's good, right? Like,
That's a common thing. 'Cause I
Mhm.
mean, like people look at the audience score, they're like, "Oh, it's high." Even the audience liked it,
nice.
not just the critics.
Oh, that's an interesting comment. Yeah.
average at best, but it is unbelievably good.
You want to make my cock explode now?
Fallout
Oh, that's.
Great line.
I'm sorry, but I am.
So when I
I-
watched that,
I hate it.
when I
already-
watched that, I didn't laugh. I just was dumbfounded that somebody wrote that.
Mhm.
Especially Maximus at that point in the show, and thought that was good. But then it looped around into being funny again when I started just memeing on the show.
Well, you're laughing at it, not because of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm laughing because Maximus and his whole
Thing.
idea of like human biology and sex and like the way he talks about it, it's like someone who's just never even looked at themselves in the mirror.
It's kind of like what like a 10-year-old finds funny, and he wrote it down in his little notebook. It's like,
show was produced by Jonathan Nolan.
Hold on.
Mhm.
I need to make this clear, okay? Max has no fucking understanding of what sex is or what his little thing does or anything like that, right? But
True.
so he was in chasing. If we go off of their timeline, off of what they said happened, which isn't what happened, but if we go off of that, then the bombs dropped in what, 2282? So Max would have been like pretty young at that point, like maybe 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that, and he doesn't know any of this stuff, and then he gets pulled into the Brotherhood where they raise him, and then when he's in the barracks, nobody else acts like that. It's just him. Okay,
Oh,
like they
that
even
is
show us a
stupid.
scene where he's in the
Wow.
barracks and there is somebody else. They make sure to show us this. There is somebody
Yeah.
else jerking off under the covers,
Ew.
and Max still has no idea what's going on.
That's why
Listen.
when he talks about it with Lucy, it actually there's bad writing. There's bad character dialogue, and then there's this, which is somehow even further below that,
Why
where
it's like-
it's completely it's completely incoherent and contradicts what we've seen.
I
It's
hear
like
it.
so he goes he takes classes on technology classification, but he's never taken a general biology class. Like that's like 3rd, 4th grade level biology.
Wait.
He's
They don't
also
take biology.
really
Wait.
bad.
Wait.
He's also really
Oh,
bad
sorry,
with
sorry.
technology. Also has no idea what's going on with technology. They show us a schematic of a circuit, right? And he thinks it's a rotor. I have a little bit of experience in this sort of stuff. They are nothing alike. Nothing at all.
No.
And he think it's like comparing. Oh god. I'm trying to think of like a good comparison here.
That is
It's
a good
like
comparison.
if a truck
Like a circuit.
it's like if a truck
Yeah.
driver could not understand the difference between a Toyota Tacoma and a yacht. That's what that is.
Oh wow. So
I think this is why he is like disliked by even a lot of people who really like the show, because he just seems to not know anything at any given time, and he just fails upwards.
he's so immature. Like it comes off as so immature. Like it's very surface level sort of parody writing. Like
No,
it's
no,
I mean
Falco.
satire.
No,
Satire. I
no,
apologize.
no.
Mhm.
An immature person, if someone said like, "Hey, do you want to have sex?" They'd be like, "Oh, well, I mean, you want me to you wanna do that thing, like where we
That comes off
touch and
naive. Like,
like I don't know how to do that. I mean, you'd like stutter and be a fucking mess, but you wouldn't say. I don't even
n-
want to say it because
yeah,
it's
yeah, I know. I know what
painful.
you're saying. What I mean is like if you're so edgy,
What he
like
says.
freaking
It's not
idiot.
even edgy what he says.
No,
It's like it's I I have more faith in people
a
on the
goober,
autism spectrum
a goober. Yeah, what a
than him. Like
hmm
he sounds like he's never even talked to another human being about this.
yeah. He's like an alien pretending to be a human being.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
He sounds like an alien describing what he thinks the human reproductive system is.
talk about what sex is. Yes, you
Yeah.
can say
So
it.
I have the quote. You want to have sex? You
I
mean
know.
use my cock? Yeah.
Uh,
That weird thing could happen for some guys, not me. When they make it move, it gets all big and hard like a big pimple and then it pops. They say it can happen to anybody. It's gross. That's the exact quote.
yeah,
That's retarded.
I'm glad you said it because I knew what it was. I just didn't want to say it.
Uh, I mean, like, that's I don't know. No, no. What I'm trying to say is like they think it's satire, but it's just really bad, gross writing. Like it comes off as super immature, and like I don't know what they were trying. I guess what they were trying to do is to he's like haha he's this guy who wants to be this knight, but like he's really bad at it, but he somehow getting promoted. It's uh like they can't write comedy. It's so dumb.
This is a total tangent. Like
hmm
we can just continue because like
Yeah, sure.
I can't
Yeah, exactly.
not tangent about this character.
hmm I'm sure we'll have our chance later on.
Christopher Nolan, and if you know these guys, you know that they rarely miss. The TV show has renewed interest in the other Fallout games as well, causing a recent
Christopher
surge in their
Nolan
player
misses.
counts. Likely because the show
Also, yeah, I agree.
Westworld.
I am looking at comics talking about Wesley or whatever, and they were talking about so you wonder what Mac's actually being trained for. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. It's like if you never had that kind of human interaction where you talk to people like human beings, how do they train him? Why was he let into the
Yeah,
Brotherhood of Steel in the first place? Like,
as good faith as you can possibly be.
mhm.
After he gets caught being an idiot, they still think that he was the one who put the razor in the boot, and they teamed him
Oh,
up with that power armor guy in order to get him killed. That's the best faith interpretation you could possibly have, is that the Brotherhood was intentionally trying to kill him. But then that also means that they threw Max in, knowing that he was incompetent, to try to get him killed on a mission that could change the world.
because guess what? Everybody's retarded.
I was gonna say
Woo!
it just undermines the Brotherhood even more. So
Mhm.
you're fucked either way.
Anyways, let's continue real quick.
reminds people what they love about Fallout.
I have an idea. What if I were to do like a thumbs up?
Oh god.
Oh my
my
gosh.
I
That's
forgot about this.
that's all it
Guys,
takes.
the thumbs up,
That's
guys.
that's all it
I
takes.
saw that, I clapped.
Yeah,
Oh my god, he did
exactly.
the thing.
Yeah.
More
Like
never changes.
Jeb, please clap.
Yeah, that does feel like a please clap.
uh
So this video is going to be mostly spoiler free, but if there is something I
Boo.
want
not our video.
Spoiler free. What are you gonna talk about for 15 minutes?
I didn't spoil anything. It's fine. We're good.
you to experience in the show yourself, then I'll
Oh yeah, I remember the incest jokes. Oh, daggone it. Freaking I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't like that? Yeah, that didn't
No.
immediately endear you to the show in episode 1.
Like I said, it's really bad. Like the writing is immature and satire. Like
It's very horny.
yeah.
Already.
I
That's why
will
that's why I say
actually
it comes off
defend
immature.
incest jokes.
Well, a little bit.
I will actually defend them, not because
Okay.
I thought they were funny. They made me feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But in the vault setting with the small population, that context, it makes sense that they'd say stuff like that and do stuff like that. I
Oh.
think it fits. It's just a weird choice.
I'm not against it wholesale. I think it would have worked
Mhm.
better if if it had been like implied, not just like you know, if she'd been like walking down with her friend, she's like, "Finally, I'm getting married," and her friend's just like, "Yeah, so no, I get no more rumors about you and your cousin." Then she'd be like, "Shut up." But
Yeah,
instead,
yeah,
she's
exactly.
just like, you know, I think I've had a lot of experience with the whole cousin thing. You know, no more cousin
Yeah, it's like it's so
love.
direct and they
Oh
repeat it.
no.
And I'm
Like,
like,
ah, yes, our protagonists.
stop,
I
stop.
think that's
Why do,
part of it
uh,
too, though, because the Vault Dwellers are shown to be like very direct about a lot of this stuff, and
mhm.
like to the point where it's, oh, they don't see this as a big deal, like this is an understood thing, and that's why
Mhm.
they're saying it so blatantly. So like, I do think it makes sense. It does, yeah, it feels really uncomfortable to hear
Yeah,
it
but
just said over and over and over again.
Yes,
but the
exactly.
thing is, Ficus,
Yeah.
I it's easy might be easy to forget, but like Lucy seems very focused on like the fitness and like health standards and the biology, you know, being all at their like best. So I feel like incest would be discouraged, if anything, in any vault.
Demonetized.
It's not, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen. I'm saying like why would she be saying like, ah yes, I have lots of experience from cousin fucking. When I mean, why would you be if you're someone who's so conscious of like being at the best, you know, peak, you know, of your biology? I don't know. I
Sorry.
feel like there's a few contradictions that could arise from the fruits of
No,
that behavior.
it'd be funny if they were in a
Mm.
classroom and they were being taught like about their bodies in the classroom, like like the birds and the bees or whatever, as like a parody, and like and like some people are related down there, and they're like, and then like they scoot away from each other when they're talking about like, and that makes them uncomfortable, which means
And
they're joking about you feeling uncomfortable. It's like
and
it's good.
when we find out what the purpose of the vault was for later on, it also makes it a little hard to believe that that type of behavior wasn't like discouraged, heavily discouraged.
Fallout.
So
We
Yes, I
when
agree with that.
it's kind of funny how like yeah, this is Fallout.
dude, this is because you're coming into this like, ah, wow, what a wacky, weird, fucked up kind of world this Fallout universe is.
Yeah, it's
Everyone,
like, and
it's
we're
like,
talking
oh
about the
god.
vault. Like they treat it like it's kind of funny. You can treat it like a joke, but man, you gotta like it's gotta come off naturally or else it'll make you uncomfortable. And they're too direct.
Well,
So
I would say the stuff. I mean, if you're gonna do something wacky, maybe not to
mhm.
this degree, but something like on that
Mhm.
degree, like it would be in the vaults because that's like some of the crazy
Yeah.
experiments that happened were all in the vaults. As
Mhm.
soon as you get into the wasteland, things are very serious. At least in 1, 2, and New Vegas.
Oh yeah, because like they don't want you to panic in the vault. That would be like against what they're trying to do. So let's make them comfortable to an extent. Anyways, on with the video.
Put something up on screen. This video has no sponsor because it's sponsored by me. Cringe! And my public Discord server, the Act Clan, which you should join right now. It's a
No.
great place to talk about games, shoot the shit, and just have a good time. We also have a channel where you can post fan edits, and you know what? This place is cursed. I'm actually going to delete it. The show follows a trio of main characters. Lucy, a member of Vault 33 who goes into the wasteland to rescue her dad. The Ghoul, aka Cooper, a former movie star turned bounty hunter. And Maximus, a member of the Brotherhood of Steel who has aspirations of becoming a knight. Now, I'm going to assume you're familiar with the premise of Fallout. Nuclear warfare threatens the world. Company named Vault-Tec is contract.
Also, I heard they avoid the whole China thing because they didn't want to offend people in China.
I mean, I don't know about that,
Yep.
but they
Yeah, they
absolutely
did.
did avoid talking about China.
Oh yeah, they did. No, that's an actual thing. Like,
In fact,
but
they went
still,
They
out of
call
their way
them
to say
communists, but
they
that's
call
as
them
far as they
Reds.
go.
They
They
call them
never,
Reds.
yeah,
they're
Reds and
communists.
communists, they never give a name.
Yeah, because that's really
Yeah,
important
all
to
the
Fallout lore,
communism is
right?
at home.
You know, is that part of Fallout lore? Is that like between the war between them and China,
Yes.
and then they
It
struck
like
first?
they don't even bring up the Russians or the Soviet Union. It's the Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
and it's. I mean, there's a lot of history there. I mean, they went so far as to even not even implicate China in dropping the bombs, which at the
Mm.
being incredibly charitable, it was heavily hinted, all but confirmed. But of course, there's always that you know level of interpretation that's always been there, but
Well,
heavily implied that China
mm-hmm.
started the war.
So
But
far, I'm not. I don't know what it is, but usually Actman has a lot more charisma. And so far, I'm like, wow, this is kind of cringe. Like, so,
we're not even there yet.
not too bad. Yeah, it's just that I'm starting to notice something. You know, it's like, like usually you're better than this. What's going on? Anyways,
By the government to create fallout shelters, aka vaults. Nuclear war does break out in 2077. Hundreds of years pass.
it's just a fire.
Let's open the vaults and see what the world is like. What the fuck is that? The Fallout universe is expansive indeed. I mean, these are RPGs you can play for thousands of hours. There's 27 years worth of lore and backstory to tap into. So translating that to the big screen was probably the hardest thing about making this show.
I
Not really if you
I
ignore it or change it or do whatever you want. That
I was
is
gonna say
pretty easy.
They had Todd Howard,
yes,
the
they
lore
did.
master,
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
making sure that they respected it. I mean, he said it. I mean,
Well,
several people have told me Todd Howard said that this doesn't contradict New Vegas, so it doesn't, and that's good enough for
yeah,
some people.
yeah.
It
Well,
contradicts itself. I don't.
yeah.
I know. Well, you see that's the thing. I have
Mhm.
eyes and I have ears and
Mhm.
I watch the show, so I don't.
Do you
care
believe your
what
lying
anyone
eyes?
says.
Or do you believe Todd Howard?
If the person next to me who watched the show told me, "Hey, this thing that you saw didn't happen," I would still disagree with them.
What?
It doesn't matter whether you're the creator
Yeah,
or
of
not.
course. Hey, that scene, they had grates crawling out of their ears. I'm like, no, it didn't. Like, but like, yeah. What I mean is like, it can be tough to have 27 years of lore, but it's kind of funny. That's said in a way that's like, oh, it can't happen. Like, I'm getting that vibe of like, oh man, it's really difficult, so why try? Kind of vibe. Like, hmm.
I also get the whole like, oh well, you're just nitpicking. Look at all the good stuff that they brought into it. But it's like this is all the flavor. This is all like the special stuff on top. It's the salad dressing, right? You got to look at the meal of it, like the heart. Like what did they do with that? It's like, well, they didn't try it that. They tried
Well,
to get the props right. They tried to get the flavor. They didn't try on the meal.
it's like tofu, right? It has the flavor, but it doesn't have the meat, you know. uh, and sort of like oh, of course that's the bad faith interpretation. I think the good faith would be like, well, maybe talk about like, yeah, it would be tough to sort of go through 27 of the history and where do you tell a story from, you know, like, or maybe you can get away from all that and tell your own story, like somewhere else, but the Fallout lore is still there. You know, like there's
I'm
ways
sure
to do it.
that I'm sure that Gollum Lord of Ring was really hard to make. I am absolutely sure of it. I'm sure that the room was really hard to make.
Yeah, sure.
I don't
Absolutely.
understand how. Yeah, I don't. First of all, that's not I never accept that as an excuse. Second of all,
Mhm.
all these issues people are bringing up with the timeline, they chose certain dates. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to make the Fall of Shady Sands 2277. They didn't have to set the show when they said it.
Correct.
They chose to do that. I mean, I'm not saying all the issues just disappear if you set it a little bit further along, but you have a little bit of leeway with certain events happening.
Well, that's what I mean, right?
Especially if you're not going to explain them in a very detailed manner. You're just like, this happened, get over it.
You have a chalkboard with all the dates on it, and you show us. If it's not important, then why show it at all? Like, you don't give us details if we're not going to stick to them. Like sort of thing. Especially when it comes to lore that we're supposed to know. Like,
well, if it makes you feel better, it didn't work out. Fucking hate that line.
Oh, it didn't work out. Oh, I have no idea. Okay, I was about to say like that's yeah, that makes sense. It didn't work out for both of them. So like, for Bethesda or Amazon, like
it's just something that Maximus says to Lucy when she's like, "Oh, what about Reclamation Day?" It's like, you never heard of the NCR? It's like, oh no, I didn't. Well, it didn't work out. If that makes you feel better, it's like, no, it doesn't make me feel better. Fuck you.
It's like
you nuked Shady Sands off screen.
Do you feel like you were spit in the? If you're a fan, do you feel like you're spit in the face? Like, I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. This feels super disrespectful.
There are certain moments where it really does feel deliberate. I mean, a lot of the moments I had problems with, I'm like, I could just like it feels like maybe the writers just didn't care or look into the lore. But then there are some moments where you're like, you had to know this contradicts, and you just didn't give a shit because you wanted to do it, and Todd signed off on it, so you felt like, yes, I can do it.
Okay, yeah, because there's no way you have like so many eyes on this thing without or a script or anything without noticing something. Like, here's the thing, like, I don't mind if you're going for a lore accurate thing, I don't mind if they get a few things wrong, like, because it's gonna happen sooner or later. But like, doing that sort of deliberately in order to ignore canon for your own story, just so like so you don't have to deal with it, it's like that's malicious.
Well, I don't even think I would have watched this show if they hadn't come out and deliberately said this will tie into the lore of future Fallout games.
Bethesda games, yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, so Bethesda is overseeing this. They have their hands all over it. Because otherwise, I would have just chalked it up to like, okay, so it's just it's just another show, badly written show. It's just all universe type stuff, whatever.
It's a bad show with Fallout flavor. Yeah.
But they've managed to capture the essence of what makes Fallout Fallout. But just like the games, it's
like
not solely about the main objective. It's also about the breadth of side content and side characters. There are tons of quirky, funny people that populate the wasteland, and they do a great job of illustrating how people have adapted to this new world. I figure we should talk.
No, hold on. So as they're on their way to Philly, they meet some mouth breather farmer guy, but he only has 3 plants, like 3 Tato plants, and he's supposed to be a farmer. He has a water filter, but he keeps putting sand into it, and he's surprised that there's no water coming out. His whole farm is half a mile away from woodlands, which means there's water half a mile away, but he won't go there because 2 miles away are dangerous people, so he thinks that half mile will save him. So this dude is just like, every way you look at it, he is too dumb to live, right? He should not exist. And that's how people live up here on the surface. Everybody up here is really, really stupid, yet they all survive. It makes it a non-threat.
Because
that's that wealth of flavor and whatever else he was talking about. It's like, no,
it's a background element. Yeah. So who cares, right?
it's all this background stuff. Like, yes, include background stuff, include non-main quest related stuff, but if you're going to include it, it should build on the world. It should tell you what's going on in the world. It should give you a bigger idea. And when you show all this stuff that doesn't make sense, is stupid, and it shows that literally anybody can be in control and have power because everybody else is too stupid to do anything about it. It's like, well, I mean, what are we looking at here? Like, what's the threat of this world? I can have like my neighbor Jim Bibbob, who can't change a tire, would do great in Fallout because you can be an idiot and become a leader. Like, it's horrible. You just need to make sure that what you
That's
do is good. Like, if you have side stuff, it should be good.
have better standards. Yeah.
I don't
Please.
think I should be in a position where I'm constantly trying to juxtapose the idea of like, wow, this wasteland is hostile and there are things that can kill me and it's really dangerous. I can't constantly be juxtaposing that with there are people who are just the dumbest people you've ever met. They don't really feel like people who have been living under these hostile conditions. They don't take anything too seriously. I don't understand why they are allowed to live.
Why should we take them seriously then? Like, why should I even care? Like, when you're put in danger, there's no tension then. Like, okay, why am I here? Like, like it's kind of funny how like older 80s cartoons have a base level of understanding about like it's kind of funny. We know that they're not going to die, sort of thing, but they still take the threat seriously. Like, because they know it's like we need to defend ourselves versus the bad guy. Like
Well, yeah,
basic
like the tone
basic
of it, like
things.
the tone is silly from the get go, so you don't expect the bad guys, even when they're like, "I'm gonna kill you." It's not
Yeah.
like that threatening. Whereas
Mhm.
all we hear about the wasteland is how like terrible it is,
Oh
how
man.
you
So
know
bad.
how horrible and all that, horrible, no good, very bad it is. And then once we get out there, we constantly jump between I'm about to be eaten by rad roaches to you want to make my cock explode.
I'm like, like time
Like
and
the tone is
place.
all over the place.
Yeah, it's like speaking of tone, when it's like, haha, it's silly and all that stuff, but then like when things explode, they have this like really intense music. It's like, oh man, like okay, which one do you want? Like
Music is a whole separate fucking rant on its
overall
own. Like
tone,
every time
you
I'm
know.
trying to get into the setting, like some beautiful shots,
Mhm.
really beautiful shots in this show, and then of course every single one has to be accompanied like the balancing. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with the balancing of the songs, but it seems to just
Mm.
drown out any sort of
Oh yeah.
engagement that I had
Mhm.
with the setting.
The yodeling, yeah.
Well, that was specific, but
I know, but still funny.
just the songs.
Mhm. But and
There's
also
only
oh,
one of There's
uh-huh.
only one event I can think of in this show where they don't have music blasting over it, and that's when the nukes drop for the first time, the
Mm-hmm.
world-ending nukes. When that's going off, all the sound is kind of like deafened, and you can hear some like orchestral stuff building up or something, and it makes it intense. And like, there's a ton of problems with that scene, but that sound
Yeah.
design was good for the scene. Like that brought out like, oh, this
Mhm.
is intense. This is important. This is, oh, they're at risk. And then throughout the rest of the show, every fight scene, everything else, it's always blasting oldies music. It's like, well, how am I
Mhm.
supposed to care that Lucy's losing everybody she loved when it's just blasting happy-go-lucky music and everybody's running around like an idiot, letting themselves get shot or do other stupid stuff? Like
Yeah,
the music definitely hurts. It
uh,
doesn't help.
about that, is that supposed to be like a James Gunn thing? Where it's like
No.
you have like a like when Harley Quinn's going through the base and there's old timey music and she blasts everyone. Of course, that tone is completely different,
No.
but still.
So
Hmm.
essentially, the old Fallout games,
Hmm.
they used one 50s oldies song
Hmm.
for the intro, I believe, and then Bethesda took that and was like, "Oh, let's just fill the games with that. That's the type of music." And
Okay.
I don't have a real big issue with it
It's that surface level
in the
All right, then.
games because
That's
it's just
fine.
on the radio and you can
Yeah, of
turn it
course.
off.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But
That's good.
in this, it's different when you just don't have a choice,
Mm-hmm.
and it completely spoils the tone.
It's a different, yeah. It's a different medium. Like, don't just shove it in just because reference. Like, I thought we'd learned this a long time ago. Like, but then there's also I remember playing BioShock, and like you hear like you're in the middle of a firefight, and you hear like how much is that dog in the window? Well, that's because it's on a radio in a store. Like, I mean,
Well,
I mean, it can't be
That's how I
helped.
think.
Yeah.
That's how I think they should have handled it in the
Mhm.
show. They should have had like a fight going on, and then like there's a radio playing next to it, and it doesn't overshadow the tone.
It's
Or
in
maybe a
fact
radio gets smashed in the middle
that's
of a
not
fight.
bad satire because it shows the time and place before, and the contrast is now. It's a deathland, I mean a wasteland, all that stuff. Like satire. It's there. It's not forced in. Like
I don't know what they're satirizing. People just kind of throw that word out.
well,
Like it just explains everything.
yeah. It's like my themes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's supposed to be stupid.
it's no, yeah. They're supposed to be dumb. It's like just like the games. That's another one. It's just like the games.
Just
Like,
like the games.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
oh
your
my
main character
gosh.
is constantly just the dumbest person in every situation.
Should have made her mute then. Like but anyways. Let's move on.
Talk about the criticisms and get those out of the way because there's not too many. The biggest and obviously most important critique.
Yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he's gonna get
That
it.
made me
He's gonna
laugh.
get into it now.
That made me
He's about
laugh.
to get into
Yeah.
think the spoilers that I posted.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Perlman doesn't voice the intro. F in the chat.
I don't know if you know this, but war.
Ron Perlman has been in every Fallout, so it's a little disappointing that he's not here. Regardless, the show still has a
That's a real criticism? Or is this just a
No.
meme? Okay.
I've never heard anyone bring that up.
It's just a meme then. Okay.
I've heard people say, "Oh, he's not in this one. That kind of sucks. That would be nice to see him." But that's as far as it got.
Okay, yeah,
That's
sure.
what I mean. Not a criticism. More of just like, oh man, it would have been nice to see that.
That's not criticism though. That's like, shucks, we missed our chance. Like, okay.
Sure.
fantastic opening sequence. The show also doesn't go out of its way to
Stop.
explain.
Nope. Hold
Fantastic opening sequence.
Wait,
Let's go.
I was gonna say go roll it back because he says something after that also.
Fantastic opening sequence. The show also doesn't go out of its way to explain all of the tech and lore of the universe. So
Is that where I should stop it? Or should I let him
Yeah.
go?
So that's just a total non sequitur. I don't understand why you would bring that up. It's like it has a fantastic also he's trying to he's just said he was going to talk about the criticisms. And then he's like the show has a fantastic opening sequence and it doesn't go out of its way to explain certain things about the technology.
Yeah, that is true. It's like, what about your criticisms? What happened to those?
Hold on. I thought we were talking about criticisms.
Yeah. It's like, wait. It's like, it's kind of like when it's like that's the equivalent of, hey, look over there, and you throw away the thing. It's like and then you run away.
I didn't really watch too much of this before, so after like the 4 or 5 minute mark, I have no idea where he's going. But the video, from what I saw, just seems to be very unstructured. Like he's kind of bouncing around.
Which is fine for a first impressions or maybe a dialogue sort of thing, or like a vlog kind of style thing, but like this isn't that. This is a not well structured, but you know what I mean. It's like an edited video. Like it looks like a proper review. Like it even titled it very good or whatever. So it's like, it's kind of interesting. Unbelievably good, which means that sounds like a review to me. Like,
Victor, have you seen Pyrocynical's Fallout review?
No, I was told that I had seen it by one of the
What?
commenters. No,
Oh,
like somebody
Ah.
responded saying like, you didn't watch the show, you watched the Pyrocynical video. I'm like, I had to remind myself
Mhm.
who that was.
So
I
I went
knew
ahead
who
and
that is.
watched it. It is fascinating because it's like, if I remember right, it's over an hour long, but he gets several things just plain out wrong. Like he missed parts of the show, but then he got a lot of it right. But then he said it was bad. So if you look into his comments, it's a bunch of people saying he didn't watch it, or he was watching Family Guy and Fallout was playing on a second monitor, or people calling him a pedophile, which is pretty interesting because whatever Pyrocynical does something that people don't like, that's the only time people call him a pedophile. It's pretty wild. That's some drama I barely know anything about, but
That is
yeah,
yeah.
that one felt
Okay.
very off the cuff. Hey, I just watched this. I'm gonna hit the record button and then throw in some visuals later. This Actman one does not seem very off the cuff. Like this is only
exactly.
15 minutes. Like
Hmm.
this is
Yeah.
short. He started out with some structure and now he's kind of bouncing around. I don't know, it's kind of odd. But
Yep.
I do
It
want
is
to
odd.
mention he said very strong opening scene. In that opening scene, the first nuke goes off and it has a flash that blinds everybody. Well, okay, if you pause it, the screen is almost all white.
Yeah.
The only person who notices is the daughter, like somehow. And then it takes like almost a full minute for the explosion to actually reach them and for anybody to notice anything's weird. And then when they're running away, they run away towards the nukes instead of into the hills, like in the woods behind them on the other side of the nukes to keep a hill
Also,
between them
Yeah.
and the nukes. Like
also
that
that
opening
glass.
sequence has so many problems.
Also that glass. It doesn't hit anybody. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing that all of that stuff happened and you could still say that that is an incredible opening sequence.
It's incredible because
It's okay.
I didn't think about it.
Hmm. I'm like, okay. Here's the thing. By the way, you're okay liking it. Like it all you want. But when you say it's good, that's when like people like us have problems. Like
When you say it's unbelievably good,
then we
well,
have issues. Yeah.
you're are you a creator who reviews things for a living? Oof,
Mm-hmm.
it's
It well, everyone has duds, but this is not a dud. This is
oh, it
very
is.
it's
You'll see.
interesting dud, I should say. Like, I don't know. I would call a video a dud if it doesn't do well. But like like viewership wise, but this is just sludge. Like it's not even a dud. It's sludge.
Eh,
If
I
you're
wouldn't
not
I wouldn't
already
be that.
familiar with Fallout, some things might be confusing or unclear, but because the show is good, that'll make people curious in the lore and they'll want to look things up.
Oh,
Oh
don't
my
do that.
God.
You
Don't
do
do
not want to
that.
do that.
Oh no.
I was gonna say my mind has been depending on who you ask, my mind has been poisoned by the lore of the games because I just care way too much, you know? I care way too much,
Which is good.
and that poisons my mind. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I don't like the show.
Mm.
You just didn't want to like it because of your stupid lore.
Pretend it's what you wanted.
And there's an argument, right, that hey, because of this show, there's a lot more interest in the games and a lot of people are playing the games, which makes this show good, right? Like, no, no,
No.
no, no, no. The show is
No.
shit, and it's getting people interested in the games because the props were really good and the effects were really good. But the show also could have been good. The show
Exactly.
could have been good, and if the show was good, even more people would be playing the games and
Yes.
all of that.
Not
So
out
that
of
doesn't count as a
spite. Yeah, they
defense.
wouldn't be doing it out of spite. Yeah. Like
There are people who
for
have never played the games who
Mhm.
watched the show and went, "Wow, this show's really good," and then they start playing New Vegas and they're like, "Maybe I was wrong about the show." Like that's happening,
Or
all
the play
right?
Fallout 4, it said, yeah, it's pretty accurate.
I was gonna say I don't even believe most of the people who didn't play Fallout before this and like the show that are playing New Vegas or Fallout 3. They're like, those games look ugly. and I don't want to play those games. I'm gonna play
True.
Fallout 4 or Fallout 76.
Yeah, I
Everything
know.
they saw in this show lines up with Fallout 4.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
that's
one
what
they're
I
probably gonna
mean.
play.
Yeah.
It's the
Not the
most
power armor.
recent-ish one. Yeah.
Even Fallout 4
Power
is.
armor's right on
I'd
the
rather play
cover.
Fallout 4 than watch the show. Like I would. Like
Oh, me too.
it's not even close. But like it's kind of funny. The same thing happened to like when Suicide Squad game came out. People said, "I'm not playing this. I'm going to go out and I'm going to play the in honor of Batman's death. I'm going to go play through the Arkham series." And that's what I did.
That is what I did too.
Yeah,
I get what you're trying to say. It's a
Mhm.
little bit of a different situation there, but
Yeah. Where it's like
yeah.
it's out of sort of like spite. It's like, well, screw you. I'm not doing that. Like I'm gonna go and take the other games. Like, anyways, yeah.
You know, what are the other vaults like? Some of the fight choreography, mostly like hand-to-hand combat stuff, can look a little soft. Sometimes characters are put in really dangerous situations and they just kind of bullshit their way through it. But the biggest
Oh,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
actually did a whole little focus bit on the fight choreography,
Mhm.
and it was ass. Like, there was one decent fight scene, and it was the very first one, where Lucy's fighting the Raider. It's hard hitting. It's like what they do makes sense. There's a couple flimsy moments where like the Raider could have stabbed Lucy, but like chokes her instead or pushes her instead. But overall, the Raider is relying on his experience and his strength. Lucy is relying on her agility and her knowledge of her surroundings. And she gets really badly injured, but she comes out on top. And it's like, all right, that was pretty good. And then from then on, it's just, it nosedives. It nosedives immediately when she walks out of that room, and then everybody's spinning around in circles, running forward, like they get punched, and then the scene cuts, and suddenly they have a gun out of nowhere. Or somebody runs up to a raider with a gun, the scene cuts, that person vanished. They're just gone so that that raider can survive and goes along and hits somebody else. Or the power armor guy fighting a Yao Guai. They're just sitting there so slowly, and they take turns hitting each other and staring at each other before one runs away. Or the last fight scene where nobody is taking cover behind anything. People who are taking cover are doing it behind picnic tables, like upright picnic table. The fight choreography is not soft, it's awful. It is so bad. Just every fight scene except the very
Mhm.
first one. It's just like, what the fuck is going on?
So
I think I just remember
oh.
not being just being so dumbfounded by even like the first encounter with Lucy. I was just dumbfounded by like as soon as she detected the radiation, my brain was putting things together like, wait, so they just had sex and he's got enough radiation. Well, she should be like, "Eh, how how is she not incredibly sick right now?" And then, you know, the fight between the power armor, the knight and the Yagwe, the whole time I'm thinking like, this guy's in power armor, right? I'm not crazy. He's in power armor and he's afraid of going toe to toe with a Yao. Huh.
Hmm.
I think the choreography kind of skipped over me a few times because I was just dumbfounded by them just glossing over certain details. But yeah, that's it.
Um, hmm. I I just don't know because let's actually so it says Fallout fans confused by Amazon shows potential conflicts with one of its most beloved games. It's like, yeah, Fallout New Vegas. They were talking about
Oh,
how
is he
like
gonna finally? Is he gonna get into it now?
yeah.
complaint I've been seeing is about retconning. The history and lore of Fallout is really fucking cool. The series has been around since '97, so naturally fans want to protect that, especially since the show has been confirmed as canon. So it
Yeah,
needs to
it
line
is.
up with
Okay.
the other games.
All right.
Now, I'm no expert on the lore of Fallout, and typically I'm not one who obsesses over lore in video games.
Excuse
Here it
me?
is. Here it is.
What?
So I just posted it again.
I
You can
can't see it from here.
unspoilerify
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm keeping my eye on chat a little bit so I'm sorry if I don't see
That's
anything.
okay. Yeah, so just so you guys heard that, it's been confirmed as canon, so it needs to line up with the other games. Now, I'm no expert on the lore of Fallout. Typically, I'm not the one who obsesses over lore in video games and consistent timelines and all that. Pretty easy for me to suspend my disbelief.
Okay, let me play the thing in full.
and consistent timelines and all that. It's pretty easy for me to suspend my disbelief if what I'm watching or playing is amazing, entertaining, and immersive enough. But
Well, okay. So what you're saying is it's all based on how you feel. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't have an
So
issue with this. It's what he
he's
says
Mhm.
after this.
Yeah,
so
because
he's
like
saying two different things there, though. He's saying
Mhm.
like, okay, so like canon and what's going on and matching up with the older games, and then also suspending disbelief. Suspending disbelief is like, okay, if you get hit by a lot of radiation, you can turn into a ghoul, which makes your skin fall off, but you live forever and you might go feral. It's like, all right, I can suspend my disbelief if that's in the show or the game and they're consistent about it.
yeah, of
It's
course.
not, oh, this is the show, this event now happened, which contradicts all this other stuff. I'm going to suspend my disbelief to pretend like that never happened. Like, suspending your disbelief isn't a thing for like canon events or retcons or anything like that.
Because it did
He's
happen.
mixing up two different
Yeah.
terms.
Yeah, I think he meant as a generalized term for suspending disbelief toward like lore, but yeah, that's not. It doesn't sound like the same thing.
Well, I don't understand how he goes on to contradict this again later, but I don't
Mhm.
understand how you can say, well, obviously fans want things to respect the lore and can be consistent because Fallout's been a property since '97. But I'm not typically one who obsesses over lore, and I think it's pretty easy for me to suspend my disbelief if what I'm playing or watching is amazing and entertaining. I'm like,
Which is interesting because he
so
showed
you
Halo
could have
Reach.
just said I don't really care about
Mhm.
consistency in something as long as I'm amused and entertained.
Yeah,
I don't
like
really care what they do, which is just a really bad
oof.
thing to say as someone
Yeah,
who reviews things.
yeah, like you don't care
I
what they
feel.
do. It's like yes, you do. You're reviewing it. You do care.
Well, you've clearly given
Yeah,
your opinions on
Mhm.
things based on their quality, so you've kind of
You make a
taken
video
a
about it.
position.
You
What about your
care.
video on the Halo? Like he brings up Halo a little bit later on
Mhm.
as
Well,
like, hey, see, look, Halo was way worse. At
he
least
he
this
he
wasn't as
showed
bad. And I'm
he
like,
showed a
well, why
clip.
don't you like Halo? Just keep it simple, stupid.
Mhm. But like he did show Halo Reach. I think the reason why he showed Halo Reach there is because there's a book and then there's a video game and they contradict each other. So what he's saying for Halo Reach is that it's entertaining on its own right. But the thing is though is that Halo Reach the video game is consistent with itself. It's also consistent with the other parts of the lore. Even though it may contradict what the book says, it's still not it's still trying to be consistent with the other games. If it's almost like a fan edit. It's like that the like and fans are very passionate or whatever. So they were still trying. This I think Fallout's kind of different in that way, where it's like it's not its own thing because it contradicts itself as well as contradicting what came before it. So that's what I'm getting from it.
He also used the word obsessed. Like, if you care about the lore, you're obsessed. Like, I don't like that much.
No, I don't like that either.
I'm not one who obsesses over lore. It's like I never considered myself
Excuse
someone who
me?
obsesses over lore. I
You-
just tend to remember things when they're
Mhm.
well written and told to me in a very natural way.
You know how many Halo
So-
videos he has? Like, I think, what are you obsessed, or is it just what you built your channel off of? Nah.
Like, I'd call obsessed, like, oh, there's 3 grooves on the left side of the Pip-Boy instead of 4. I'd call that obsessive. right? I want to call.
That's
Oh,
autistic,
hold on.
yeah.
Was the
Yeah,
capital
yeah.
of this nation destroyed before or after the game where this nation had a major war? I don't think that's obsessive.
You could call that obsessive, but again, like that's kind of that's a little bit subjective to me. But like, but there is somewhat of like nitpicking till the cows come home, where it's like, okay, like I get it. There's something wrong with it, you know.
Well, I just wonder if we were to ponder over to his Halo video, if he
Mhm.
would say the exact opposite, like, I'm obsessed with Halo lore, and I was really disappointed. Blah, 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 blah."
Not in those words, but like it shows in his actions that he is somewhat obsessed, like in his own words, like you know. But
Does
it's
have a
like,
negative connotation. All you have to do is say, I really, if someone was just like, I really love the Fallout lore to the point where I've played all the games and I get really
mhm,
engrossed in the story and I remember little details. Like,
mhm.
oh, people would be like, oh, that's so great. That's so positive. But as
Yeah,
soon as you say
exactly.
something negative about it, oh, you're obsessed with the lore. Why can't you just enjoy it?
I know. It's like the Penn and Teller thing where they it's all about tone. You know, when like it's like you'll tell the dog that it's a piece of crap but in a calm voice, and then you yell at it positive connotations and and the dog gets upset. It's like, yeah, it's like, of course. Like that's how they see these things. Like anyways, let's continue.
But since the show has been confirmed as canon, this is a new direction for the Fallout series. It could have a huge impact on the next game. Obviously, people don't want Bethesda to fuck that up. Now, this is my perspective as a Halo fan. If retcons and lore consistency are the biggest complaints people have, that's a good
Nope.
problem.
That's a
That's
good
not the
problem.
problem.
That's a
That
good
is not the
problem to have.
problem, and the problem that it and the problem that the lore and all that does have is a big problem.
That was a
No,
race
What
to
the
the
no.
fuck are
pause.
you doing, man?
That was a
No,
race to the
Ficus. No,
pause
Ficus.
button.
Retcons and lore consistency are the biggest complaints you have. That's a good problem. Now, look at the Halo show. It's
That doesn't make any
I
sense though, because they tell you like
correct.
that it's a silver timeline. So what are you talking
So
about?
this is what I meant by his whole contradiction thing, where he said, "Look, I know that it's very important for fans that this game is consistent to the lore because it's going to be impactful on the next game, but I'm not really someone who really focuses too hard on that stuff. I don't obsess over it.
Bull.
But if we are talking about retcons and lore consistency being a problem,
Uh-oh.
that's actually a good problem to have. How do you say these things
Yeah, it's like when you reviewed
one
Halo
after the other?
5 from and then like you compared to Halo what happened in Halo 4 through 3.
This is about where I stopped
Uh
watching because I kept reading that over and over, and I'm like, how did you
well, hey Victor,
how,
stop being obsessed, okay?
how did you contradict yourself so quickly?
Uh
So I haven't seen the Halo show, and I don't want to. But
you shouldn't.
is the Halo show canon?
No. It's a different timeline because like they call the games the gold timeline and they call the show the silver timeline.
Ficus, this is a new precedent. I don't think most adaptations come out and say like, yeah, this is canon to the games. I think
So
this is
lore's
So
important. Lore's important then.
he's saying
Yeah.
Halo was really bad, and it had a lot of lore inconsistencies and retcon problems and all of that. But also, it's not canon. But Fallout. But if Fallout has a lot of lore problems and retcons, then you should be happy that that's the worst part of it. Like, is that his
Yes.
argument?
yes.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And just remember though, they did it really well. Really well, guys.
Fallout
Yeah, when
show is
unbelievable.
Maximus
incredibly
talked
good.
about popping like a pimple, that just wow, that I clapped.
Great
I
writing.
clapped.
Anyways, let's continue.
To have. The producers of the Halo show created an entirely new timeline just to fuck it up and intentionally ignore the lore of Halo. That's how far
Well,
What they did in
that's
this
what they did in
show.
Fallout. What do you mean? Like, you
You
hear
dense
these Fallout
motherfucker.
people have...
No. They didn't make a new timeline for Fallout. No. They kept it in canon for Fallout, so all of the damage can spread. They just left
Yeah,
the gangrenous
exactly.
wounds
At
attached.
least the
Oh yeah, no.
at least Halo's quarantined.
I
No.
was gonna say at least Halo's quarantined. My thing was like that's how they wrote it. Except they also decided, oh no, this new timeline that doesn't, have any sort of form of consistency with the regular timeline. We're just gonna say that's part of the regular timeline. So it's worse. It's way worse.
So
You can't even divorce it.
Far they wanted to go in the not Halo direction. So often we see adaptations that look and feel nothing like the source material. What I'm trying to say is that I'm bitter. I'm bitter that you guys have a great show. And that's not to say-
Whoa, hold on. Let me be bitter.
Oh.
All right, I'm fucking
Oh.
bitter. Okay.
yeah, like
You guys should be happy for what you got. You motherfucker.
wow, I can't believe he's like, you spoiled rich kid. It's like, I sure love it. Yeah, it's called Arcane.
Man, I don't know.
Buddy.
I feel like
He
you just
mentioned at the
shouldn't have-
beginning.
You just shouldn't have obsessed as much over Halo, and I feel like you would have enjoyed it.
True. It's like, man, this is
Hey,
so
should've enjoyed
bad.
the props.
This is so
Yeah, I
bad
mean,
in
like,
5 minutes.
when Master Chief did a backflip and punched the Arbiter, I mean, wow, that I clapped.
I also, in like when I saw the Halo ring, yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, it was great. I clapped.
You can fuck with the lore as much as you want as long as the end product is good. But it's nice to keep things in perspective.
What did he just say?
Oh,
Can we back that up, please?
no.
What did he just say?
Can we back? I need to hear the full context.
Hold on, we're gonna go back a little bit.
Not to say you can fuck with the lore as much as you want as long as the end product is good, but it's nice to keep things in
Oh,
perspective, you know. And
Wait a minute.
lore consistency are
Yeah,
the
I think-
biggest complaint
Alright.
people have. That's a good problem to have. The producers of the Halo show created an entirely new timeline just to fuck it up and intentionally ignore the lore of Halo. That's how far they wanted to go in the not Halo direction. So often we see adaptations that look and feel nothing like the source material. What I'm trying to say is that I'm bitter. I'm bitter that you guys have a great show. And that's not to say you can fuck with the lore as much as you want as long as the end product is good, but it's not.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You just said that.
Well, he's saying it's not like excusable, except for the fact that he did excuse it
Yes.
by saying, well, I mean, I just don't, as long as I'm not obsessive about the lore, I can pretty much enjoy anything as long as it's entertaining.
Pretend it's what you wanted. Thank you, Cinema Wins.
We are kind of bordering on that territory.
Oh man, we're crossing state lines with it. Like,
Nice to keep things in perspective, you know? The show is great, it's entertaining, it 100% feels like Fallout in every way.
he said it feels. He said that a bunch
You
of times.
just said earlier that you're no expert. Like, I'm not saying you
Exactly.
have to say or be an expert or anything, but you literally said that
I
you're
know. It's so weird
not.
to hear when he just says like it feels like this. It feels like
no
that.
expert on the lore of
And
Fallout,
it's like-
and yet you say such definitive things like it is 100% true to Fallout, or it is.
It isn't. But it said it feels like it.
Feels
Oh.
like.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
So what you're saying is that like it has the look. That's what I'm saying. Like it has these superficial elements of Fallout. It has the flavor, which you said earlier. So it's totally reinforces that. Oh, goodness me.
And that's what makes the Fallout TV series so awesome. Its identity and tone.
Goosey McLean.
Oh, no, it's Lucy.
Nope. It says Goosey.
That's
Uh,
his positive example.
That
That's
was
his,
really
that's how
good.
good this show is.
That was so
and that's what he
cringe.
has to
That
work
that,
with.
that was so
Oh.
Fallout. So
yeah,
Fallout.
that's so Fallout. because he's acting like an NPC from the game, I guess. I don't know. It's like
And a bad NPC. It's like, oh, so this person who's in charge of the whole vault, this person who's in like his priority is to keep his people safe and is to keep people like productive and good
why does he
things.
have one
Oh,
eye?
he can't read, he's barely blind, like he can barely see,
He's
and
barely
he's very
blind.
stupid. Like, oh, that's all right.
I know.
Yeah,
It's funny. That's all.
he is barely blind. That is true.
He's barely blind.
He puts on the glasses because that's comedy right
It's
there.
funny
He doesn't
because he
need
puts
the
on
glasses. You
glasses.
see,
You know, putting on glasses is not funny. We need to. I think we need to like a scorched earth on like Hollywood writing when it comes to comedy. It's like we need to start from bare, like from square one again. Like, holy crap.
I was gonna say I think when I was watching this, I
Uh,
pointed this out a few times, but some of these jokes are like worse versions of Futurama jokes. Like, you know that
yes.
if you guys have seen that show, like where they're watching a
Mhm.
3D movie, it's like the 3D is really good, and then Leo's like, mine aren't working very well.
Mine's not working very much. It's just like she
You know,
switches
like,
between the two colors.
yeah.
It's like,
But they make this like a slowly drawn out like, your name is Goosey. Wait, let me put on my spectacles. Yep.
it's like
definitely Goosey.
Professor Farnsworth would make that funny, but
Mm.
that's his delivery. It's like, no, it says right here that you're Goosey. Wait a minute, let me put on my glasses. It's like, yep, Goosey. You know, it's like, or good news, everyone. I finally read a word, like, or something like that. Like,
Mhm,
I
mhm.
don't know. It's not. It's also delivery, and it's very like they're acted in a way that makes them sound very bored of what they're doing. Like it's very stock. It's very safe. You know, it's too safe.
I would have appreciated a little bit if he had drawn like if he had like confronted the elephant in the room, like, oh
Mhm.
yes, I do have one eye. But
Yeah.
they just never they just don't.
What if it was
I
like
mean,
the
what we find out
yeah.
what's happening in that vault, like the experiments
Mhm.
almost feel divorced from the mutations that we see. Like there's just like an ear or a nose
What?
or this guy with the missing eye. And then when you find out what's happening in the vault, the experiments are like
What?
way more drastic and fucked up
Yeah,
than
of
just
course.
here's a random like appendage that is attached to this person's head. It feels like something you would see in a B movie.
Yeah, because it's like
Yeah, they got
mhm.
they got really lazy with it. Like, oh, we need mutants. Okay, what should they look like? Oh, they should look exactly like people, but with one thing out of place. It's like, okay, well, what was the Vault experimenting on people for the mutants? Oh, turning normal people into 3-ton giant fish people with fingers in their mouths. It's like, all right, what the fuck is going on?
Why
Like
would they need to do
that's
that?
not what you're showing us.
Well, I don't get why that's a vault thing, like a vault experiment to begin with.
Well,
Like,
the thing is, a lot of the vault scenarios
mhm.
were mostly bad and fucked up things.
Sure, I understand
I'm
that.
not saying they were. I'm not saying they were like insanely ridiculous, but some of them
Mhm.
were borderline like, what was it, like 100 men, one woman,
Oh, war
a bunch of
crimes.
rich people, like
Yeah.
a bunch of rich people put
Mhm.
into a vault, and then like the overseer is some bum they picked up off the street, stuff like that, like chaotic scenarios to test the extremes of human behavior.
Mm.
But that one just
Oh
didn't even
crap! I
feel
forgot.
consistent with what they were, what we found out it is. At a certain point, I'm like, is this just the vault where we give scientists unlimited uh impunity? Like they just as much they can do whatever they want, no moral boundaries. Like, okay,
Mhm.
maybe maybe. Uh
I just, it's kind of funny. It's like just a basic form of communication would have been fine.
of course
Like,
all these vaults existing, but that nagging poisonous lore that keeps popping up in my mind about what I know about Fallout 1. I'm like, oh yeah, wasn't there this guy called the Master who was looking
Mhm.
for specific people to give the FPV virus that had to come from vaults because they were people who were untouched by radiation. It's
Hmm.
kind of crazy that these vaults just have been existing here this whole time, and he just never
They're
found
pretty
them.
much loot
Never knew
boxes.
about them. They're like basically out there in the open. Like when she exits
Mhm.
out, Lucy exits from the vault. Her vault, it's just there, not hiding.
I can understand why
And
the
it's
one in
and
Fallout 4 is hard to find because it's kind of like underneath all this
I'm not.
dirt.
It's
But yeah.
been 200. It's been over 200 years,
Mhm.
and nobody's
Well,
left. Nobody knows about it.
oh yeah, people knew about it. That's how they kidnapped your baby. But yeah. Um. But anyways, yeah. I've kind of lost focus for a little bit.
Yeah, it's sorry about
Yeah, no,
It's,
it's not you. It's more like, man, there's so much wrong. It's like-
it.
Fallout is
Yeah, it gets
Mhm.
worse.
part post-apocalyptic depression-fueled nightmare and part hilarious dark comedy. They absolutely nailed this vibe.
You're a coward. You know that shit?
We all are, Norm. That's why we live in a vault.
You can tell
So is there anything anyone never mind. I should have just kept going. I thought someone had
It's
something
fine.
to say about like the dark comedy element. Is that really a dark
I missed
comedy?
the other thing he said. What
You're
was he said something and then also dark comedy?
It's like a
um
balance,
a balance between dark comedy and
like this grim wasteland.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
I'll go
product is
back a little
good,
bit.
but it's nice to keep things in perspective, you know? The show is great, it's entertaining, it 100% feels like Fallout in every way, and that's what makes the Fallout
in
TV
every
series
way.
so awesome. Its identity and tone.
Goosey McLean.
Oh, no, no.
No
It's
skipping.
Lucy.
No.
It says Goosey.
Fallout is part post-apocalyptic depression-fueled nightmare
Depression filled nightmare
not really.
and dark comedy.
Like I
So
can't think of any time, maybe in the Vault 33 when they're uh when Norm is like learning the truth and everything. That might be as
Yeah.
close as you can get.
Yeah.
But
And-
yeah, it really isn't. It's mostly just like shock value of, oh, let's put a grinder on somebody's foot. It's like, oh, let's bite off somebody's finger. Let's cut you up for your organs. But
That
it's
might
like
be a
it's
dark
shock
humor
value
thing, right?
stuff.
Yeah, that might be
Yeah,
the
that
dark
could
humor
also
part.
fall into dark humor.
Yeah.
The show never really takes itself seriously. Like the closest you get is the very end monologue where Lucy cries about it. But no,
Futurama does a
it's
better job
pretty
of taking
much
you
just
seriously.
stupid and silly the entire time.
Mhm. Like, there's Futurama episodes where I'm like, it's silly, yes, but I can still take it seriously. Like, like Leela's parents. It's a very strong episode.
Yeah, yeah. A lot
Mm.
of like a lot of drama, a lot of like, oh wow, they seriously tried. This is just a bad situation. But there's also jokes in there while they're not joking at the situation. They're not making jokes at Leela's expense or at the parents. It's just these are some goofy people trying their best to get through something that's actually pretty tough. So
Yes.
they can nail too in that way. But
It's a
in
very
this
human
Fallout show, it's
reaction
all
too. Yeah.
yeah. In this show, it's all over the top. It's all
Mhm.
shock value that doesn't actually have any lasting impact. It's all things that don't make sense just so that they can get as much gore on screen as possible.
Yep.
It's
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, it's
there's no balance here.
it's like Outlast. Oh my gosh.
and part hilarious dark comedy. They absolutely
Hilarious.
nailed this vibe.
You're a coward.
In quotes.
You know that shit?
Norm's the best character.
We all are, Norm. That's why we live in a vault.
Yeah, I wish she had been
You
the
can
one to
tell
leave.
that great care was taken to get the details, the intricate subtleties just right. Sound effects like for radiation are there. There's a lot of things.
Wow.
Okay, so
The Geiger counter made the noise.
Yeah, exactly.
Ding.
Yeah.
So little thing, but since he's praising the little things, I'm allowed to say bad things about the little things.
Oh yeah,
When
true.
Lucy opens up the purified water to give to the idiot with his sand farm, it makes a Nuka-Cola pop sound, not the purified water sound. So no, they didn't get all those details right either. They just
Oh
pick and
crap,
choose.
son, you got him. Burn.
Things hardcore fans will notice and appreciate. I don't think there was
Appreciates a
in the show
strong
that
word.
made me roll my eyes, groan, or sigh. No Marvel.
What?
None of them.
Uh-oh. He's behind me, isn't he? The humor.
They literally do that with the Yao Guai scene. They
Oh
literally fucking do
no!
that.
He compared to Marvel.
Jesus.
No.
Does this guy forget? Like, it's even goofier than Marvel. Like, when was the last
Mhm.
Marvel movie you remember some like incredibly tough character just going like fuck, 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 fuck,
That sounds like
and just
Jurassic
running
World Fallen
away.
Kingdom. When it's like, oh no, it's behind me, the dinosaur. It's like, this sucks so much. They do
So
that stuff
fucking
for the
pathetic.
trailer. It is pathetic.
That it gets taken out. I mean, it makes sense. But it gets taken out by a pistol when this guy couldn't fight it off with his power armor. And
Yeah.
then people say like, "Wow, you're surprised that a pistol could kill the Yagwe?" I'm like, "No, I'm surprised that the power armor
Didn't do it
was
beforehand.
was no help at all. In fact, this bear managed to hit him so fucking hard that he had cuts and bruises that were it don't make sense.
Because like,
And he's
The
supposed to
power
die from
armor.
those injuries?
not only
Power
that.
armor that can kick rocks through buildings,
Yes,
throw
exactly.
stones
That's what
100
I was gonna
yards into
say.
the ocean,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
showed us
and can
that, and
come
then
out of the sky at 50 miles per hour and hit the ground and the user's fine. That same power armor did nothing against the
yeah.
bear, and the
Well, you
user
saw the
died
Because
you
plot.
he
saw
got
the
shaken.
bear smack him like while he's in the power armor, and he manages to like turn him over on his back.
Reverse
That
plot
thing
armor.
weighs
Yeah.
at least 5 times the amount that bear weighs. At least. There's no freaking way that bear's turning that entire suit of armor over. No way.
Doesn't power armor like weigh like 20 tons? Like,
It's at
They
least
say 2 tons.
oh,
in the
2
show.
tons?
They
My
say
bad.
2
My
tons.
bad. My bad.
I thought it
20
was
tons.
5, but like even 2 tons.
Mm-hmm. Like,
That's
bears can barely
insane.
push over cars. Like, I mean, they can shake them, but it'd be tough. It'd be tough to knock one over.
No, I could believe. Okay, no, I could believe if the bear took like 10 minutes to slowly push it over.
Yeah.
That thing smacks it and completely flips it. That's retarded.
Cow
I don't
tipping.
get it.
Yeah.
Land
Yeah, they
and
definitely
on-
do that.
Mhm.
They have so the knight is standing there in the cave while Max was sent forward to die. Max turns and he sees the power armor, and the bear is right behind the power armor, just slow breathing at him. And then the power armor guy does a slow turn, like, "Oh, what's that behind me?" Like, he doesn't say that, but he does a slow turn to see the Yao Guai.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do the exact same shit in this show.
Yeah. Mulder calls it the ninja Yagwai. Like, yo. It's just like,
It appears, yeah.
it's a stealth. It's like instant transmission. It's like, oh, hey there. It's kind of funny he mentions all this. Like, he mentions the Marvel-esque humor. I'm like, that's all I see. It's like this modern version of that. It's a twisted version of it. Like,
it's like Marvel humor if Marvel got an R rating so that they could make incest jokes and my penis
it's
pops like a pimple
oh
jokes,
no.
and it's
Yeah.
oh, I fuck chickens jokes. It's like Marvel but for adults. That
I
sounds
can't
kind of
wait
like
for
Rebel Moon,
Deadpool.
doesn't it?
Woo!
Isn't that amazing?
I
Deadpool actually had more adult humor in it, like grown up, like mature humor, not just "oh, my penis hard," so haha, funny laugh. Like,
Yeah.
And there
even
are some jokes
Deadpool
like that.
that
Immature,
made bad
yeah.
jokes,
Mhm.
like it was still it did it way better than this.
Oh yeah. And I am definitely like the hot take of the room because like I didn't really like that movie that much. So but still,
That's fine.
I got
and
laughs out of it,
Deadpool-
though.
Both
Like-
Deadpool movies suffer from, okay, this joke is going a little bit too long. This
Mhm.
joke isn't that funny. Move on. It has those types of jokes, but it does at least have a variety of
Mhm.
adult humor.
Like
in
it does. Like and a lot of meta jokes like really stick the landing too. Like the beginning
and it's
credits,
consistent.
you know.
That is what you expect.
Found the stream.
Or at least
Hello.
what you can expect.
Sorry, I'm saying hello to chat. But like
Hello, chat.
yeah, how you doing, chat? But like for example, in the beginning of the credits, it says like the guy you won't remember the name of because he's a camera guy. It's like, yeah, it's like I like that's really good. It reminds me of like Tropic Thunder a little bit. So anyways.
He's behind me, isn't he? The humor lands, and it's funny. A lot of the jokes are purely visual. There's one part where this character, Thaddeus, is waiting for pickup at a radio station, and he's talking to the radio operator who's trying to tell him about how nobody appreciates the music he plays. And Thaddeus is just like, oh, yeah, cool. Then it zooms out, and he says,
Great job on these booby traps, by the way. Really good. Hey, thanks.
and it's like, all these people died because they wanted to confront the radio guy over the shitty music he played. The show is also wildly...
Yeah, so
what do you think about that?
That whole fucking scene with the traps and everything. So Thaddeus walked through all of that booby trap laden everything, said hello to the guy, got his message through, sat down, still surrounded by booby traps. He's there the longest, right? Then Lucy and Max show up, they just walk up, he shoots, misses them completely, of course. Neither of them hit the booby traps. And then Thaddeus freaks out a little bit. He was there the longest, takes a step back, and sets off a booby trap. So he was there. He saw all the traps. He steps on it. Shoots him. He's totally fine, though, of course. And then he runs off through the booby trap-laden area without setting off any others. And then Lucy runs off without setting off any booby traps. And then Max runs off without setting off any booby traps. The only time a trap is triggered... Apparently, these traps are so good that they kept this guy alive. Like, dozens of people came through, and they all got stopped by the traps. But of these 3 people, the only person to set one off was the guy who was there the longest. So the joke doesn't land because the situation doesn't make sense. If the situation made more sense, maybe the joke would have landed.
Well, you see, Ficus, if anyone else had been injured by the booby traps, then we wouldn't have a story. So it had to be the guy who needed to be in a situation where he had to give up the plot device. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a story.
Yeah, because
everything
main
has to
character
happen.
shields.
The world has to break for the story. Every time. Every fucking time. And it was the spear trap, not the flame trap right next to him.
Not even.
I wanted to see him get set on fire. I want to know if ghouls can survive that, you know?
That's neat for the lore.
Not even mentioning the insanity of the fact that they caught up to him at all. They just fast traveled to his location because they show up about 5 minutes after he does.
The day before they went to the vault, so Thaddeus left them the day before they went to the vault, right? So that whole day they're walking kind of towards him, and then they go in the vault, and they're in the vault for what, like 3 or 4 days or something like that. They're in the vault for a few days, and then they leave. And as soon as they leave, that dude, he's been walking the whole time. They still catch up to him, like really, really quick. This dude, he has got a flattened foot, but it takes him like 3 days. It takes him until they leave the vault for him to get the idea, I should go get a message out through the radio. Before then, he was just wandering around, wasting time. That's how they could catch up to him, because he just did dumb things until they could finally catch up. Yeah, Thaddeus is not a good character either.
Also,
He's
nice
got
screenshot
that,
I got.
I need to be dumb
But yeah.
if the...
Nice pause. But yeah.
Yeah, Cayman Riders in the chat, he's right.
Yep.
The wasteland is tiny.
Like I said, I think
people can teleport or just step 3 steps to the left and they'll fall into a vault. Like, it's
I think that's like, again, it's like it reminds me of like all the other stuff a part of writing when it comes to TV shows. That like it has to be tiny or else they can't like because they want their characters to run into each other no matter what. So how do we do that? It's like, well, let's just be lazy because we're making the characters stupid anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's
I mean,
like,
that isn't even the first instance of characters just happening to conveniently cross path. It happens
all the time.
over the show,
Yeah.
all the time.
Mm-hmm. I I've it, I know it's not like it just reminds me of like Star Wars and stuff like that, where it's like everyone in the universe goes to the same place at the same time all the time. Like,
I mean, that's a whole separate beast. Like Star Wars, I mean, even if you argue that the way that the travel time is cut down because it's a micro galaxy, it's still a galaxy.
Yes, with planets
and cities
and cities.
It's so much worse.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's so much worse, but still, it's like it kind of it gives me that vibe of like, man, it's like, you know how hard it is to find somebody, like in a town, like let us like a whole country, like or a state, like. But anyways,
out of pocket at times.
You want to have sex?
You mean use my cock?
Yeah.
Men will get a signal like this and straight up be like, I wonder if she's into me. You'll be blindsided by some crazy shit that happens.
So, no.
Whoa.
No, don't try to defend that at all. Don't try to say, oh, well, he's just a guy and he's just socially awkward. No, that's not socially awkward. You skipped the part right after that where I already said it. But yeah, he is completely retarded. Like, that is not normal behavior. Don't try to say it is.
It's not normal behavior because, and he said he excuses it because, well, it's so drastic it distracts you. Hold on, let me hear that again. Sorry.
And he says,
great job on these booby traps, by the way. Really good.
I need to hear that again because that was so stupid.
All these people died because they wanted to confront the radio guy over the shitty music he played. The show is also wildly out of pocket at times.
You want to have sex?
That's a problem, dude.
You mean use my cock?
Yeah.
Men will get a signal like this and straight up be like, I wonder if she's into me. You'll be blindsided by some crazy shit that happens. If you don't...
You'll be blindsided. Okay, is that a good thing? That sounds like a bad thing.
Yeah, so as a enjoyer of the other games and whatnot, so those are some of the last remnants of the NCR, right? Those are the NCR, like, civilians and whatnot that got in that vault. They represent what is left of the NCR, and they're all crazy blood-eating cultists now.
Oh yeah,
like, if you just want to see another example of spitting in the face of what came before, that's a good one.
Really wild. I did not expect that. I didn't even associate them with the NCR until it was brought up as like, oh yeah, this is like an outsider tradition. I'm like, oh yeah, they did say that.
So
yeah, no, NCR citizens are just normal people.
What he just said though is like, I think he's trying to say, well, it's so out of left field that like it's a good thing. And I'm like, and he comes up with one example. And
it is, therefore it's good.
Yeah,
He comes up with one example where he cut it just right to remove most of the context of it, so you don't see how stupid it is.
I don't think
and then he brings up another example that makes the NCR look like insane people. And
that was that
changes what they
scene.
were
Oh, okay, yeah. What I'm saying is like, this isn't necessarily a bad or good thing to have something like out of nowhere happen. Like it all depends on like tone and context and stuff like that. And like in how it's executed. But like from what I see right there, I think it's a bad thing. And he's trying to spin it. Like
he's trying to spin it as anything that's out there left field must be good, right? Because it shocks you, it surprises you. Therefore
that's what I'm
good.
getting
so
from
it's like,
it.
well, it's shit, it's awful, It was out of left field, but that doesn't make it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a neutral, like as as a as a tool to write with. But yeah.
Audibly shout, "What the fuck?" at least once while watching this, then you are a robot who cannot feel emotion. It's time to power
I'll
off.
give him that.
Lucy is from Vault
I said
3,
what
and
the
most
fuck
of the
a
vaults
lot.
have some kind of experiment on the people in them. So each group of vault dwellers is kind of weird and different in their own way. Lucy comes from a vault where everyone is super optimistic, naive, soft, and kind. And so much of the comedy
Oh
revolves
boy.
around the
So from what I've heard, right, is that, but the problem is Lucy's no longer naive when she leaves the vault because of all that stuff that happened to her. No, you wouldn't be naive after that point, after watching your family die.
Here's the thing, Falco.
Mhm.
I can believe that you're naive about certain things.
Of course.
The problem is that Lucy never really takes, like, the show never really gives her a chance to take some time and introspect on anything
Mhm.
that happens to her.
She never
just kind of
grows.
bumbles, and like, it's because every single time she gets out of something, it's incredibly lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And even when, so she does get out, and like once she's outside the vault, she's so happy-go-lucky. Oh wow, look at that! Isn't that crazy? Oh, look at
Okey-dokey.
that! Like, what a cool thing over there. Yeah,
In
okie
very mild
dokie. And
ways.
then maybe, yeah, and then like she's in the house, is like, oh my god, they took this vault tech stuff to euthanize themselves. Wow, that's nuts. And then she sets up the campfire at the end of the day, and she's like, happy-go-lucky. Ooh, like Lincoln Logs. That would have been a great time to be like, to think about it. Like, why is she so happy-go-lucky as she's setting up the camp? You know, when the sun goes down and you start getting those deep thoughts, like shower thoughts almost, like you lay down, you're like, oh man, how did my life come to this? That
And
was the perfect time for that. She should have been
and the
sitting down and be
music,
like, feel the weight of it. But she
and
didn't.
those
Never
first few
happened.
scenes with Lucy, there is a lot of just her walking and not a lot of dialogue being spoken. And I saw an edit of the scenes where someone just swapped out the Fallout 1 music, and it's so much better because you just have her wandering in this vast, terrifying looking wasteland, and the music in the actual show is just, like, all right, we're going on our way, we're having fun on our adventure. Da, 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 da. It's like, guys, she just went through a traumatic event where
Yes.
a bunch of her friends and neighbors were brutally killed. Her father was kidnapped by this insane person. And now she's on her way to go and save him. What are we doing here? Like, this is not... even Fallout 4 did this better.
Yeah,
When you exit
they
the
did.
vault, like the whole, like, exiting the vault scene. I remember that, like, hearing the like, either it was Todd or someone else who worked on the show who was like, they nailed that, like, feeling you get when you leave the vault. I'm like, no, they didn't. Oh, what? Because the door opens slowly, but as soon as she gets out, it's just like, all right, let's throw in a 50s track and
I'm
away we
on
go.
my way.
Like, it's
I'm
just
on
like the rest
my
of the
way.
show.
I'm on my way to eat your skin.
Completely tone deaf.
It's which yeah, because like well, that's what I meant. I didn't mean like she's naive toward everything. What I meant is like she wouldn't be so trusting of people. She would actually.
But then when the show
reserved.
does try to say, "Oh, look,
Mhm.
she's not as trusting now," it's when she's not trusting of the only person who she should trust, the
Who
guy who
took
literally
bullets for you in
sacrificed
power armor.
his life
Yes.
to save you, and then you see
Yes.
him in a fucked up situation. You're like, I don't know if I can help you out. It's like, what?
What? You trust the
Okay.
That's the
ghoul?
only time.
Like,
That is the only time she was distrustful of anybody, by
and
the
it
way.
doesn't make sense.
Even the fucking two fiends on the bridge, like Maximus had like way more sense than her, and God, I mean that's
The
a silly
writing's
scene, but
terrible,
like
man.
it made sense. His attitude made perfect sense.
But
She
don't
was
you
like,
get
"Oh,
it,
let's
guys?
just
It's
put up our
supposed to be
hands."
dumb. Like, stop it.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
well, guess what? We're not treating it seriously either. So the joke's
It's really
on us.
funny. You could just write a character. You know, when a character does something really smart,
Mhm.
well, it could also be funny if they're really dumb.
It's. I remember that quote from the guy on stage or whatever. He's like, "What if they were dumb?" Like, anyways, let's continue.
Contrast between, you know, her obnoxious, upbeat attitude and what's really outside of the vault. They do a fantastic job of showing what life and culture is like in this vault. At one point, they hold an election for new overseer, and one of the candidates says,
You ran a great campaign.
I know. Must have put 10 posters up.
What you gotta do, you put a few posters up and let democracy run its course.
Oh, bad choice. Bad choice
That
right
did not
now.
age well.
Oh, it didn't age well. Oh, no.
So that was just
why?
another non sequitur.
Anyways, yeah, because he said democracy, he has to put up Helldivers too in order to get. It's kind of funny. He's doing what Fallout's doing, where it's like, yeah, look at this. Isn't this cool? It's like,
I don't know. Did that feel relevant to the point he was making?
no,
You know,
it's
they
just
do
a
a good
meme.
job
Felt
of showing
like-
the culture inside
It's
the
just a
vault,
meme.
and then
Yeah.
showing a boring scene of them
Mhm.
talking about voting.
It's just a meme. Yeah.
And then the ear rape where he didn't balance the audio well,
Nope.
so it just blasts you. I did not appreciate that.
It
No,
wasn't so
no.
bad on my end, but yeah.
It was bad.
the actress for Lucy said she wanted to approach the role like Ned Flanders in the apocalypse. This is the most accurate description of her character. She's fucking awesome.
Unchanging. Yeah, that does make sense for Ned Flanders. He got
Well,
Flanderized pretty hard.
No. Yeah. She did get Flanderized. Yeah. She's going off the wrong Ned Flanders. Like the Ned Flanders at the beginning was more well-rounded. Like they gone.
Throughout the show, she almost reflects like the player's experience playing Fallout for the first time.
It's like the
you know?
games.
Initially, you start off naive, like, well, how bad could it be? And by the end, you're like, this place is fucking awful. Lucy's character arc, going from naive vault dweller to woman of the wasteland, is a really interesting.
That does not happen. I don't know what the hell
She
you're
never
talking about.
gets to Woman of the Wasteland, but I think we already covered the whole, all my friends and family were brutally murdered in front of me, and I'm not going to think about it thing.
Yeah,
so
I think it would have been much better
what
if,
else we have to
if
say?
she was just looking for
I think
somebody.
I think it's
That's
really
it.
fucked up, honestly, that it's just out of character for someone not to at least think about that once while they're out there.
Oh
you know?
yeah, it's kind of funny when like whenever you play a role-playing game at all or like a tabletop and like you're gonna have like just you playing as a player character, you're gonna have some introspection about what you're doing for your character. And like, but none of that is shown in a TV show with a bunch of writers. Because that's not what their concern was character. It was more about wouldn't it be funny? Like it's so
And the first time you're playing a Fallout game, I mean, this is just a terrible example because every person who plays a Fallout game for the first time, they're not all gonna have the same information. Some people probably, like I would say, a good amount of people probably know that they're getting into a post-apocalypse RPG.
Yes.
So they do have an idea of the kind of creatures that exist.
Or what your character's going to be like, or like what's the expectations? What is the expectations? I mean,
you just watch like one trailer of any Fallout game,
or pop
tells you
culture
a lot.
references. Yeah,
Yeah, the first Fallout game I played was Fallout New Vegas, and I didn't know anything about it before I played. So my introduction to what Fallout it was getting shot in the head by some asshole. So I knew it was rough going in. I knew the world wasn't friendly.
Do you remember who it was?
You were due from the start. Yeah. I forget who that guy is actually.
What, are you talking about Benny?
Oh, you were
What are you
talking
talking
about
about?
Benny. Oh, I thought you were talking about after that. My
Oh.
that should have been really apparent. The game was
Oh
from the
no!
start.
After that, Cazadors. Yeah,
Yeah, Cazador is
I took
really.
the wrong road.
Oh, you did.
My first interaction with a death claw was fucking horrifying. I was by some abandoned farm, and I was doing that technique where you crouch a bunch to see if you're still hidden. It was like, oh, nope, caution. It's like, oh, wow, where's the enemy? I don't see him. Oh, danger. Ooh, he's got to reroute. And then I just flew across the map. Just dead instantly.
It's
I had
kind of
no idea what hit me.
Invisible Deathclaw, right?
It's kind of insane,
mhm.
honestly, when you go from Fallout New Vegas, like wearing full power armor, trying to fight a Deathclaw, to Fallout 4. You realize like how much they just nerfed Deathclaws, or rather, I don't know, maybe just insanely.
They wanted a spectacle at the first part.
They killed the
upgraded.
threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They killed the threat completely. It was Deathclaws used to be the big, terrifying things that got a reaction out of you because they were so dangerous. To Fallout 4, where I can kill a Deathclaw in Fallout 4 with a silenced pistol in one shot. Like, Deathclaws just are not a threat anymore.
Mhm.
And they had that opening scene where you fight a Deathclaw in a suit of power armor because your expectations are, oh, I've fought Deathclaws before. They're big and scary and terrifying. But then in that game, once you get past that scene and you keep wandering through the wasteland, every Deathclaw you find, it's no longer a threat. They've been nerfed so bad, so that game actually loses replay value. Because when you play that scene again, I don't even grab the power armor anymore. Like, I grab it to move it out of the way, and so I can drop down onto the ground floor, but then I just hop out and I play it normally because, oh, it's just a Deathclaw.
Wow. You're really good.
Well, you can jump into a building and they can't get into the doorway.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Really?
Unfortunately, the geometry is your best friend when you're fighting Deathclaws. You just jump over a simple 2-foot wall and they get stuck, or they have to the pathing just forces them to go outside the main entrance, so you can just keep shooting at them.
I thought that was a 76 issue. Wow.
No, man, it's all the issues in 76 were present in Fallout 4.
Oh man. Tell me lies.
Almost all of them.
But anyways, let's continue.
Interesting one. Now, it wouldn't be Fallout if there wasn't some extreme violence and gore. And to be honest, the show...
Okay, hold on. Is Fallout known for its gore?
Yes, I will actually give him that one. Bloody mess perk, blowing limbs off people. I will give him that.
The bloody mess perk is one thing, but it is a perk. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's like the vanilla.
So
you can easily
I'm
not
even
choose that perk.
There's that GIF.
So I'm in a playthrough right now of Fallout New Vegas, and I've got Boone by my side. So how this goes every single time is I shoot somebody with a varmint rifle, they run at me, Boone shoots them in the head, their head fucking explodes. Just like rinse and repeat that interaction over and over again. So I don't have the bloody mess perk in Fallout New Vegas. So that is part of the games. I'm glad they stuck with it through the show. However, they
that's right,
go
Bethesda.
through some real bullshit to do that. Like the meat grinder prosthetic, really, really stupid. And gore has always been a part of Fallout. At least I haven't played one or two, but
especially
gore
in the
has been
classic
through the
ones,
rest
is
of
what Mook
Fallouts.
is saying. In the classic ones, like gore is actually a staple.
Yeah, I won't. I won't push too hard on that. I actually will usually take the bloody mess perk, but usually a little bit later, just because of the damage boost. But
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree too hard on that.
No,
I just took me a second
I'm just
to remember
getting
like the
a
limbs, how easily you can cut people's limbs off, and it does get pretty bloody, I guess. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to
Yeah.
so okay, what I was trying to ask was like from people who've played Fallout, trying to read the room. Okay, he's correct, but
it doesn't.
He
take
is.
precedence
I agree
over
on a
good
surface
storytelling.
level.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at. Where it's like how you depict it and how it's used. That's also a part of it, because I'm sure there's like, it's known for its gore, but it's not like showing it to you as like let's see.
Generally, it's not used as a gag.
Yeah. There you go.
I would
It's not.
say.
It's not used to to exploitative way, or anything like that. Kind of how
you got people.
Sometimes bloody mess can get like that, but yeah,
Sure.
that is just a perk.
Bloody mess, yes, but like you got people being crucified. You've got people like you've got several melee weapons that are like like the like one that comes to mind is the mini chainsaw weapon.
The
I forget what
Ripper,
it's called.
yeah.
The Ripper, man, that thing is fucking brutal.
And plus, there's always that there's that like you have this like this iron like punching apparatus around your arm, and when
A
it
power
punches,
fist.
when it punches people, it rips off their like limbs because it's so powerful. It's like like stuff like that. But when I mean like versus the show, which is like or like I'm actually I want to compare it to Outlast, where they use it to get a reaction out of you. Like it's to exploit the violence, where it's like, aren't we, aren't we edgy for doing this, or like and stuff like that.
It's like, yeah, so the show, I could think of two examples right off the top of my head where it's gore in the show, but it's a power armor suit, where he crushes the guy's head. I like that that's part of it. I like that that happens. I think that's a good use of gore, but they pushed him into the suit in order to do that and then stood there where he could reach them. So that was retarded, like, let's throw some things together with duct tape until we can reach the part where we can show gore.
Yeah.
Just like with the meat grinder foot thing. Like, oh, we want to show some really gory stuff for his leg. How do we do that? It's like, well, don't worry about the how. Let's just make some shit up until, boom, there you go. There's your gore. It's like, well, I don't have a problem with the gore itself. I got a problem with how you got there. Like, that makes no sense. It's a pirate's peg leg, like literally a table foot, makes more sense than whatever contraption you just came up with.
Yeah, I really, really liked that. I also really liked when Maximus, in his attempt to murder his squire, he smooshes his foot. I really liked how his foot looked, but then I remember that he's been walking on that for how many days, potentially?
Yeah,
I don't,
days.
and once you realize that, you're like, oh, there's no fucking way that there's just no way.
Is it wrong to?
Did you like the part where he stepped on his foot and then Max turned around for no reason so that he could jump back onto his smushed foot to remove the power core? Did you like that?
I loved it. And I know there's someone out there who's gonna be like, guys, you guys were complaining about the fast travel issue. Like, he was slowed down by his foot, and that's why they caught up to him. It's like, no, I'm stuck back at how the fuck how was he even walking at all?
Yeah, and even if you're assuming that even if you're assuming that he was slowed down because of the foot and that's why they caught up, that doesn't explain why it took him 3 days to figure out where he should go. Like, he was just randomly moving for 3 days before he opened up the radio and decided to go there.
I mean, if anyone deserves a promotion, it's that guy. He stuck with the mission. He carried the fucking supplies, which Maximus just left behind.
Maximus is probably the most hateful person I've ever heard of. Like,
hateful or hated?
Hated. Well, not say hated, but like
both.
Yeah, both. Really, it's like, man, I think Alice from Batwoman has more redemption points than he does. Like,
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but he's definitely like he's like retarded evil. Like he says the worst things in the worst way possible, but not in like the most evil way, just in the most unintelligent way.
He's like, is it wrong to think that someone should die? It's like
yeah, Titus, he's dead. We gotta get our story straight.
It's like, what?
Dude. What?
He's such an evil man.
Imagine you work in a factory and your boss looks at you and goes, "Hey, watch this," and then jumps into a meat grinder and you run off and you tell your coworker, "Hey, we need to get our story straight." Why the fuck would you just say, "Hey, he jumped into a meat grinder"? Like, what? That's basically what happened. Oh my god.
No, but like, I can't help people with my suit if I don't take the power core that powers an entire civilization.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe that the same
catching up.
power
Yeah, it's
core
fine.
that powers a Mr. Handy also powers the entire vault for 200 years. What the fuck
Oh
was
yeah,
that?
he takes out that freaking core. It's like, and he just walks out with it. I'm like, why? Why are you letting him go? It's like,
It's like you don't have another one of those.
well,
it's like,
too
ah,
bad, I
yes, if
guess.
I guess when that ran out, you guys were just fucked. Right?
Yes.
I mean,
that's why they shouldn't
And
let
I
him
guess
leave.
there's no way to open the armor. I
Yeah.
guess that doesn't happen in Fallout 4 anymore. Which, I mean, I guess I don't have 30 suits of stolen power armor in all my settlements. My bad.
Oh my gosh. So, anyways, sorry, let's continue.
Kind of drops the ball here. It's really tame.
Wait, what? Hold
we
on.
do a little. There wasn't some extreme violence and gore. And to be honest, the show kind of drops the ball here. It's really tame.
This humor sucks.
We do a little trolling. No, the violence is insane. Exactly like the games.
Okay.
People get their
Exactly
legs
like
blown
the
off.
games.
They get dismembered, decapitated, and the effects are amazing. A lot of times I can't tell what, if anything, is CG or green screened. The show is simply a spectacle to watch.
All right, I am
okay,
assuming that they did not actually crush a man's head. I'm willing to take the risk and say I believe that was special effects. I believe that was.
Well, I think that's what he's saying too. He's just saying it's so good that it's hard to like tell that it's CGI, which I'm fine.
He's very
like with somebody saying that.
Okay, okay.
All right, fair enough.
What about you? Do you think like it was hard to see, like hard to tell sometimes, or what?
Definitely, I
Okay.
thought like some of those shots were really good.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you're talking about the quality that they did it.
Yeah. Like it's stuff with like,
Yeah.
man, like it's well.
we
why does it have
The
that?
special effects people did a good job.
Okay, and I think
we
that's
briefly
why
touched
people
on
like
the,
it. Oh, I'm sorry.
On the quality of the gore in the show, it's pretty good.
You can't tell what practical and what's not. Yeah, of course. That's
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. He was talking about computers versus practical. Okay, my bad. That's on me.
Oh no, it's fine. But like I was sort of thinking like is that because they had a big budget? Or in
Yes,
time?
Probably.
Okay.
Definitely contributed.
Like a budget timing, like they had did this show have a due date? Like did it have a
I mean everything has a due date.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like were they in a hurry or were they like strapped for time or?
As far as I can tell, there wasn't much of a crunch. I think it had 2
Okay.
years, if I remember right. But
Okay.
let's see. I know they
Mhm.
they signed all the contracts and the paperwork in 2020. So,
Oh,
but I
wow.
don't think filming started for like a couple years after
There was
that.
COVID, right? So
Oh yeah, that's true.
that probably slowed
Yeah.
everything down.
Ship, Koof. We're online.
The Corona.
Oh
That's
no.
my favorite beer.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait for those viruses to fight. Like like kung fu. Yeah.
Can't wait to find out that Vault-Tec actually caused COVID. It wasn't the Chinese.
It's true. Oh man, we're the edgy ones here.
But yeah, for the record, we do not believe Voltec started COVID. We do not believe that
I mean,
theory.
to be fair, we haven't seen
Disavow.
season 2.
Disavow, chat.
However,
I will wait till the end of season 2 before I make any conclusions.
Yeah, season 2. It's like, speaking of Vault-Tec, I freaking hate it's like capitalism is the reason why they drop bombs on ourselves. It's like, shut up. It's like Take on it.
In season 2, they're gonna reveal January 6th was an inside job by Vault-Tec.
No!
Yes. We do a little trolling.
Yes. We do not.
Vault-Tec does a little trolling.
We don't. We have no political affiliations. We disavow. I am waving my finger. Like.
Yeah, I disavow myself too.
Yeah.
I was like, why are they using so much slow-mo? Then I realized I'm a fucking idiot. They're recreating the iconic cinematic kill cam. It's amazing.
Nope, stop. So almost the entire vault fight with all the raiders was all in slow-mo. So are you telling me the entire vault fight was a slow-mo kill cam? Is that what he's telling me right now?
I think what he's trying to say is like, oh my gosh, it's like doing VATS. Like, sure, maybe.
So that's for the targeting, and then there's just as you're out and about and you kill somebody, sometimes the kills will go into slow-mo for it. So that is true. That's part of the game.
Yes.
But that does not explain for slow-mo throughout the entire fight. It's through the whole thing.
Is this
like
misleading
the whole
on his part?
sequence, the whole.
Sorry.
It might just be a lie. I don't know. It's either misleading or a lie.
Well, I consider misleading to be a lie. Like, but like, what I mean is like, is it intentional that he's leaving out stuff? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so
I
either.
think this is just him interpreting slow motion as like, oh look, it's a mechanic from the games, without taking into account like the core component is also the ability to target specific limbs.
Yeah, he didn't really explore that idea. I don't think
it's not just the fact that you're slowing down time or stopping time. That's pure just game nonsense. That should not translate into an adaptation at all.
If we're gonna do it, it should be a nod. It should not be the whole thing.
It makes no sense at all. Like, it's not like he's actually in slow motion.
No, of course not. And instead, it's like, it's kind of funny because if you're gonna do that, like, it should be seamless, like into its own scene, where it's like if it was done in regular motion, like he's just really fast, like but it's these are just two different mediums. Like it can't transfer one-to-one like that, because like he didn't really explore that idea, I don't think, where it's like, if this is a game mechanic, then how come it's all over the fight? He didn't go that far. So that's what I think.
And there's even more to say with like, well, it's a different medium. It's like, yeah, well, they even messed that up too. Like in the vault scene, the raider does Jet and then he gets super aggro and then tries to tackle somebody. That's not even what Jet does. Jet does the slow time. Jet does the more AP, the more action points. So he should have, if you wanted to show the effects of Jet, he should have done the Jet and do some like almost martial arts moves or something like that. Get a few really good hits in.
Get some
if you wanted him to be
there.
aggro and super aggressive, you could have some slow-mo in there. If you wanted like aggro or whatever, he should have taken Psycho. He should have done a different drug. Like if you're arguing, oh, it's adapting off the games, it's showing a game mechanic in the show form, it's not even doing that right. You can't even argue that because
lose double points for that. Yeah, like because like man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Take on it. Oh yeah, it's kind of like man, it's kind of. I think he would like the Zack Snyder thing. Oh my gosh.
It looked okay. Before I watched Fallout, the last thing I did was a full Zack Snyder Rebel Moon review. So I'm quite familiar with his slow-mo shit at this point. And yeah, when I was watching the Fallout show, so much of it was reminding me of Rebel Moon. I was going in. I expected this show to be much better than it was. I was expecting like Mad Max Fury Road qualities, where yeah, a couple mistakes here and there, maybe a big issue or two, but otherwise real good, especially the fight scenes. But no, we got Rebel Moon. This is trash.
Yay.
Mwah. It's so good. Now that I think about it, I
Oh,
don't
did you
know-
notice?
It looks pretty. It
The
looks pretty.
slow-mo kill.
Mhm.
Slow-mo kill stopped as soon as they actually died, so it's backwards.
Which
So
is
his
kind
own
of
argument.
Hold
there,
on, wait
by
a
the
minute.
way.
Did I see that right? Did that bullet go through his chest and then through that guy's head? Wait a minute. Chest? How did it curve to his
Oh.
head?
Magic.
Sorry, that was just cool.
It's so
I-
good. Now that I think
It is cool, but it's like, how did
I agree.
how did the bullet swerve? It's like, this
Did-
isn't
Yeah, that's not a
it-
game mechanic either.
No, it's not. That's just bad editing.
I was gonna say I
That's bad choreography.
compl-
Sorry.
I can agree with that. I think it's so fast that I'm like, eh.
Wait
eh.
a It's like, oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. I was like,
I take issue more with the fact that he has these insanely powerful bullets, and then I guess he just doesn't use them later.
mm-hmm. Also, also he has no helmet of any kind, and the only way to kill them is to shoot him in the head.
Yeah, maybe. It's not even clear if that's real or not, since a ghoul dies from getting shot in the shoulder, but yeah,
oh yeah,
maybe,
that's
who
right. He
knows?
does. Yeah, it's really inconsistent.
Oh, also, Mook in chat,
Mhm.
honestly, no clue how someone would translate VATS to any other medium. Yeah, it would be really tough. My take on VATS in the games has always been like, this is a heat of the moment, like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this guy, then this guy.
Like-
You know how, like, when you're playing sports or something, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna run this way, cut that way, and kick the ball in that direction. That's how I always saw VATS. It was always like a mental thing, and then in the game format, you're just taking your time to
Yeah.
plan it out
Like
in that direction.
the Green
right?
Hornet does that. Like when he's when he's trying to get through all this stuff, he goes through like the mental aspects of what's going on around him, and then he does it. It's like,
Yeah, and Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie.
yes,
Where
like
he's
that.
like, he plans out the fight ahead of time, and then when he actually does it, it's in
Mhm.
full speed. Like, there's different ways to do it, or you can have the character like focus in on their eyes, and it's starting from like left to right, and then the action scene starts, and they go through the whole thing. Like,
And
there's
it goes
ways
to a
to do it.
POV, and then it's like, all right, that's what I got to do. It's a pure, and
Yeah,
it goes to the
yeah.
actions. Like that'd be cool. Like
It's already, yeah, we're putting way too much thought into this because they took,
Well-
apparently, what Actman is telling me, they took after people die, they go in slow-mo, and then he shows the opposite happening, where the slow-mo stops right as they get killed. So it's like, yeah, it's
just
that's
weird.
possible.
It's just cool looking.
It
That's
is just a
why.
little odd, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it looks cool. Okay, sure.
think about it, I don't know if I saw any energy weapons or laser guns in the show. But there's so much from Fallout to tap into, and we gotta have stuff for season 2, right? There's a language.
Yeah, so the Brotherhood of Steel, that's all about technology, and they have no fucking energy weapons. Alright, correct me if I'm wrong. The only energy weapon I remember seeing is on the wall of the store. Can anybody remember any other
Nope.
examples?
I don't
That was the
remember.
only one.
That's
That
it?
was the only one.
Jesus.
I
I was hoping I was wrong, actually.
Not even the Brotherhood even showed one.
So I need to leave and come back real quick. We're gonna take a break. Real quick.
Alright.
So I'll go to this mode real quick, and I'll be right back. Whoop.
Yeah, I was really surprised that we didn't see any energy weapons at least being used. You thought like, oh, that would be another checkbox, but nope.
Yeah, like, they put so much effort into getting, like, the props accurate to how they see the game, and they wanted to make sure the vertibirds and the Pridwin got in there, and they just never... They thought nobody would want to see a plasma rifle. Like, why did they include the assault rifle for the Brotherhood when everybody made fun of that gun? Even the people who liked the game. And I liked Fallout 4, but that gun looks really stupid. But they gave all of the Brotherhood of Steel guys that gun instead of energy weapons. I don't know. People would have liked to see that. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, or like a you want to make a big dramatic explosion, throw in a plasma grenade. I don't know.
Yeah, you could have had somebody with a Gauss rifle, or well, I don't know if an anti-material rifle would really count. I don't think so.
Not
Or
quite,
like
but you have
the
the Gauss
Enclave,
rifle.
the Enclave scientists should have had a laser pistol or something like that. Like that would have fit with the character and the world, and it would
That's
be
what I
a
mean.
oh, I remember that from the game. It would
That's
have
what I mean.
ticked
That's
all
the
the
most
boxes.
surprising part is like the factions that you expect to have advanced technology. They don't even do the I remember that from the games. There it is. Like it's just it's weird.
It's
By the
an
way, I'm back.
easy win, and they went with that through all the other things. There's like this whole show is like its foundations are, oh, I remember that, but they didn't use any
I
energy
remember.
weapons. Yeah.
And
Really
yes, Mook, you're completely right. It would have changed everything if the knights actually had weapons. The problem is I don't even know what scene you're referencing because there's at least a couple of scenes where that's the case.
Yep.
All the fights with Maximus.
So yeah,
Maximus wasn't smart enough to
I was
pick up the weapons.
Oh, whoops! I need to change back to my I shouldn't do that. Yeah, I like my little, like I learned how to use OBS more, so I have this little intersection part here. It's nice. So, anyways, back to it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Just I have to retry everything. All right.
To cinema that has not been ignored. The Fallout series does a lot of showing. Scenes are often carried by the expressions of the actors. They dictate a scene and tell us more than words could. Everyone's acting is fucking phenomenal.
Is that
not 100% sure. I'm trying to think of
fucking phenomenal
exact example. What he's saying is they do show not tell. I know that isn't fully accurate. I just off the top of my head I can't think of, like there's a vault scene where Lucy's trying to leave and they yell at her, no, don't leave, and then she leaves anyway, and then the guy turns and is like, well, she left, that didn't work. So it's like,
oh yeah, like
I don't know, for the most part I think I agree. For the most part they do show things and don't tell them.
Well, the problem is that like where you I don't, that's just such generic advice though, that it's like just because you do that doesn't mean it's good.
Well, isn't
Yeah,
that
like we're
right?
saying, hey, you didn't fuck up like something that Marvel and others have been fucking up. But that doesn't mean you're good. It's just like, congratulations for not eating the poop. Can you please stop holding it? Like it's one of those situations.
Yeah.
Wasn't he talking about the acting?
Yes. I will move back a little bit.
Yeah, so he was saying that they do show not tell, and you get more because the actors' expressions tell the story. Which that actually, yeah. Now that you bring that up, that I disagree with. The actors' expressions don't really add to anything because they don't really share anything new, right? It's like, oh, shocking event happened. What are the actors looking like? They look shocked.
Dull
There's
surprise.
no deeper anything in that. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
They look shocked, and then they get told, okay, now we're moving on to the next scene.
Yeah, it's like, congratulations, you did the job. Yeah, it's that you're supposed to do. You don't get bonus
it's
points. You know, for
very
that.
boilerplate. You don't get like mixed emotions. You don't get, oh, this event happened. They're supposed to be feeling one, and they're trying to fake feeling one while they're actually fake feeling two. Like if their character is feeling something, they're showing it, no matter who around them. Like when Maximus at the end, like Maximus got knocked out and then he woke up and people are claiming that he's a hero and he doesn't want to be seen as a hero, but he should be buying into that. He should just be playing along, right? But no, his expression is like grumpy and upset and whatever. So you only get a boilerplate emotion. You don't get that deeper meaning. You don't get that show. You get the tell, you get what's right in front of you, and you don't get anything else.
I was gonna say he has that classic Maximus expression where
Yeah.
he you can see the gears turning. He's like, I was knocked out, but they're clapping. They think I did it. I guess that's okay. Yeah, all right. All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
That's what I get from it.
so like yeah,
I
so
mean,
how do you convey that in an honest way?
and,
It's yeah.
and I mean a lot I'm not going to blame the actors for like cuz they were directed in a certain way to react to certain
Yes.
things. Like for example when Lucy loses her finger and then when she gets it
Uh
back, she just I don't think I remember her ever pointing that out, like, oh, I've got a new finger that looks like dead flesh, or oh, I'm having problems with my finger, or this is weird, I'm adjusting to a new finger. No, it's just never brought up again.
well, that's because they
Yep,
have
it's just
it's
relief.
healed. It's healed. Woo! That part's over. We never have to deal with it again. It's like
But you'd think like any
it's
one
like,
of us, if put aside the nonsensical nature of that entire event and the way it happens, you'd think that one of us after that happened to us would at least mention it, like, or it would
yeah,
come up
it's
in some
so
way
when people
in your ordinary life.
like
Because
it's kind of
normal
funny.
people
It's
don't
like
look like that.
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. But like the whole
All
thing
good.
of like if you have a scar on your like finger, even a scar, you know, like and then you see that scar and your mind goes to a place where you're remembering how you got that scar. And then you may get lost in thought and like and those thoughts like I wonder what I could have done differently. Or if it's like learning from an experience or maybe it's like I'm glad I got this scar because I did something that I think was worth it getting the scar. You know, like really simple ways to go from just imagine a whole finger. Every time you saw it, it would remind you of like how you lost it because it's so obvious that you lost this finger. You know, it's like, and then you have a new one. It's like, what would that other person like to have the finger? You know, all these thoughts that go through your mind. It's like, and I don't hear that any of that being sort of no. It's not an issue anymore. It's I don't get it. That's not how human minds work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways.
For season 2, right? There's a language to cinema that has not been ignored. The Fallout series does a lot of showing. Scenes are often carried by the expressions of the actors. They dictate a scene and tell us more than words could. Everyone's acting is fucking phenomenal.
That smiling scene of Max, by the way, when Max was in that suit and he's grinning like that, that was the part where he was about to kill Thaddeus, and Thaddeus was begging for his life on his knees, and Max is really happy and enjoying his suffering. So that's what that was, in case anybody was curious.
Hysterical.
He's such a terrible person.
Oh, he's so bad.
Why do I it's kind of funny. Like hey, look at that. Why does every helmet thing have to be the same? I don't know. It's just like we need to see like the Marvel cockpit of like Iron Man.
So they did both. They did this so that you can see his facial expressions while he's still wearing the armor. And they had the visor pop up so you can see his face while he's in the armor.
It's not
They
just
couldn't
that.
settle for one.
Look at the look, there's the Fallout thing right there on the right. You see it? Like, oh my gosh, look at the reference. At least it has a purpose, I guess, to show what's wrong with your suit. So, I don't know. Are these digital readouts?
This is like the HUD. From
Yeah,
Fallout
it's like,
4.
wait, oh, yeah, but I just don't get why you're able to see. Like, that seems, I don't know, it seems off to me. Like, it's too digital. It doesn't seem practical. You know, like, but whatever. I'm just being nitpicky.
I don't have an issue with it. It's just your standard Fallout 4 power
Mhm.
armor HUD.
scene and tell us more than words could. Everyone's acting is fucking phenomenal. You know, brevity is the soul of wit. They go for a less is more approach with
The
dialogue.
dog's
This
acting
works
wasn't
really
good.
well in scenes.
The dog's acting wasn't good. You talking about like
That sounds like a joke, but it's actually not
no,
a joke.
it's not a
The
joke.
dog does not act like a dog. How do you fuck that up? It's
It sort of like does
yeah,
the
there are
mhm.
there are
Yeah.
feel good little stories you can read. Like I read this one thing. Whenever people have like whenever Hollywood is working with dogs, there's this really common thing they have to do where they have to put something over the dog's tail and actually green screen it because when dogs are acting in a movie and they're acting aggressive or scared or whatever, they the dog is trying to follow what it's been trained to do, and it's so happy that it's doing a good job that its tail is just wagging away, which kills the scene. So they actually have to green screen it in to make the dog not look excited to be there. That feels really fun, right? That's a good feel good story. This dog, what it follows its master, super loyal, and then it tries to
Mhm.
kill the ghoul because the ghoul tried to kill its master. The ghoul stabs it, almost kills it, brings it back with a stim pack, and then the dog is just totally fine, nonchalant, doesn't care at all. Like what? That's not how dogs work. That
No,
you
that's not how
character
dogs work.
assassinated a dog. How did that happen? So yeah, the dog was a bad actor. I'm just saying it. All right.
They directed that dog, yeah, badly. No, it's remember, there's no such thing as bad. There's no such thing as a bad dog. It's bad owners. Okay.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, acting phenomenal. It's like it's kind of broad, isn't it? It's like he's showing like a bunch of expressions. Like, yeah, but what's the context of these things? Like, man, I miss. It's kind of funny. I think I've been spoiled by like watching like videos by like creators who put in the context. You know, it's like
Scenes where Norm is uncovering the dark secrets of the vault and what's really going on. And one of my pet peeves in storytelling is when I notice that I'm being fed exposition. Like when characters talk in a way that feels like they're speaking to the audience, they're just not looking at the camera. Bugs the shit out of me, takes me out of the story. But in the Fallout show, I get so wrapped up in what's happening that I forget when scenes are meant to inform me of something important. This is a sign of well-written, thought-out dialogue that lets the viewer feel like they're uncovering things with the character and not just being told about them.
so far he's not showing me any like
For the most
any
part, I
dialogue.
agree. There is a full-blown evil monologue in the final episode. It goes on for like 5 to 10 minutes or something like that, which is a lot of like, and this is what happened in the past. That feels like exposition to me. Maybe you
Yeah.
can call it a
It's-
big reveal and say it's not exposition, but I don't know. It feels kind of the same thing.
I mean,
But
either
other
way,
than that, I
either
think he's
way,
right.
well, that depends. Like, it depends on the context, because you could be told direct exposition, and have it be fine. But it all depends, doesn't it? On what the execution is.
Like, just to bring it back to Rebel Moon, because that movie traumatized me.
Sure.
They have exposition in that movie all the time, where
Mhm.
they'll say the same character's backstory 3 times in the movie, and they'll just repeat shit, and they'll just exposition after exposition after flashback after exposition. So from what I saw from the Fallout show, I didn't see a whole lot of that. I think most of it was pretty deep. Well, it wasn't. They didn't have a big problem with exposition dumps until the very end.
Like, for example, like I think Fellowship of the Rings does tell you it tells the audience the back. It's not. I mean, it's because Glandriel is the narrator. She knows all this stuff, and so she's telling the audience like through like history about what happened to the ring and what the War of the Ring represented and all that stuff. So it's very like, so yeah, you can do it without it being like again, like
I was gonna say that's no different than what a lot of sci-fi movies will do.
Mhm.
Like it's the beginning of the film. Here's the exposition to set the stage,
Mhm.
and then it never happens again.
Or like there's films like where a robot wakes up and it tells its function. And like its function and what it does and what it's been through because it's a robot. It'll be clunky, but it's fine since it's a robot. You know, or like what if they're reading a story and they tell you like the direct themes or whatever. Like through like exposition. Like it happens all the time.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah, exposing yourself can be done well, right?
Mhm.
Like it doesn't mean it's a bad thing if there's
Exposing yourself
exposition in a
can be
film.
done well. Sorry.
I couldn't say the word. I just picked the next best thing. So
Okay.
it's like Lord of the Rings does it. Star Wars, the opening crawl, that's iconic at this point.
I agree,
That's
Mook.
all exposition. So it does well.
I'm sorry, but I agree with Mook. He's not showing any of the show really. He's
Yeah, he's just speaking in generalities, which
Yeah,
it's
just-
hard to argue with a generality if
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not actually wrong. It's
yeah.
yeah.
It's just that I don't know if like my ears perk up whenever I hear like that advice. You know, like show don't tell, and I'm like, wait a minute, there needs to be caveats. Like you can't just say that. It's like sorry, man. That's why I had to go because I'm drinking a lot. Holy crap.
If that makes sense. What makes the show so easily likable is how it pays service to the fans. With numerous
Fuck off. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for something.
Oh, it paid service to the fans. Oh, see? It had this little prop in it. Oh, see? They colored the thing, the stuff. Oh, I clapped. You motherfucker. They destroyed an entire faction off screen so that they could put their shit story in it. Oh my god.
It's kind of funny. Like they did the same thing with the Halo show, and it's like, wow, it's so bad. Oh my goodness. I think
I can't believe they fucking nuked the NCR off screen. That no build up to it. No, season 1, very beginning. Hey, a few years ago, we destroyed everything. It's what the
Shady
fuck?
Sands is the NCR now. Forget that like 200 years of history where the NCR like established itself all across California.
Is that Fallout 3?
Nah.
Is that Fallout 3 lore?
No.
Oh, okay.
The NCR would formerly the founding city is Shady Sands.
Well, the reason
NCR,
I ask, sorry to cut you off, but like the reason I ask is because I'm pretty sure they only referencing Bethesda lore when it comes to all this stuff. But
no, they're not.
Okay.
Like that's why we went over the fact that they are referencing, by the very nature of being in the West Coast, they are borrowing from the Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, and specifically New Vegas. A lot of things are in that.
Oh yeah,
from
like
that game.
They show off. Is it the one the last shot's like someone's headed toward New Vegas?
Yeah.
Daggone it.
Yeah.
What's his face there? Hank's in his little power armor. You could see the city behind him.
Pays off to the fans. So
makes
what
me
I'm saying is like does it so I know we kind of went over this already, but like do they ever give off the middle finger to the fans, you think? Do they like do you really think that?
Intentionally, maybe not. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, okay. That's right.
If I'm being good faith, I would say they're not intentionally trying to piss people off, but I would like there was the example I gave earlier where you know they both let Lucy and Maximus stumble upon the Shady Sands sign, and she's like, "What? What about Reclamation Day?" And he says like, "Yeah, well, if it makes you feel better, this didn't work out." And I just feel like the showrunners were like, "Oh, this is where we confirm it." I hope the
Like-
fans appreciate that we've built this up, and it's like, you guys did this off screen, and you didn't even do it well. You just
It's a meme.
you
It's
had
done
it
for
on,
a
you blew
meme.
it. You
Yeah.
blew it.
Yeah, so
you did it
there's
for the
that, and
lols. Yeah.
I actually did think of an example where they just straight up middle finger.
Okay,
So when
that's good.
Lucy and Max are walking, and
Oh,
Lucy tells Max, "So let me get this straight: the Brotherhood uses old technology to find old technology, so nobody can get old technology." And then Max says, "Well, when you say it like that, it sounds silly." So that feels like a middle finger, because that completely misses that makes the Brotherhood look like a bunch of fucking retards. And Max, who spent
What else is
14
new?
years raised in the Brotherhood, cannot defend that statement at all. Like, all he has to say is, yeah, so that some raider doesn't get a nuclear warhead and then use it. It's safer in Brotherhood hands. Like, that's all you have to say to explain that statement, but he doesn't. So it really feels like, oh yeah, see how silly and stupid the original Brotherhood of Steel was, if these are their ideals? So that feels like a middle finger.
Yeah. I mean, like, intentionally or unintentionally, I think they did do it. Like, especially unintentionally. But like, from what I've heard, anyway. Especially to the Fallout fans, like.
Every episode had me like, yo, that's that thing from the games that I'm not going to
I saw the
explicitly
thing.
mention because you
Oh
watch
my
the show
thing.
yourself, so you can
Oh
have
man,
that
I was toy
shit
jacking.
moment like I did.
He is soy jacking. Like, he is. I don't have to.
Unironically, this is the best example I've seen in a long time of just, I saw the thing and I clapped. Jesus.
ATST. Am I right?
Yeah, it's like what was the Red Letter Media version of that?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay, sorry. I mean,
ATST.
no. There was another one where it's like it was cool, like so cool.
I
Yes,
saw Darth Vader.
like it's red.
He
Like
Vadered.
yeah.
Now, I've been bringing up a lot of things that the Fallout show doesn't do, mistakes it doesn't make, and I think that's equally important to what it does well when making a show like this. Because if the fan service is too on the nose, too blatant, it can feel.
It's not. What?
Oh yeah.
What?
If it's too on the nose, it can be bad.
It
Not
is on
like
the
in this
nose.
show where they just throw it right in your face. They're like, "See, did we do good?"
It's
Look,
like
Pip
you
Boy.
can't say that
Look.
it's not too on the nose, but it has a flavor of Fallout. It's like, wait, which one? It's like,
Well, he's saying
feel
here,
like
if,
maybe
if
he's
it's too
saying
on the nose.
they didn't come out and be like, look, spam, this product we use, and then like hold it in front of the camera. Like maybe he's praising it for not doing that.
They did though. The thumbs up. It's like,
Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, okay.
it's like, dude, why is he making excuses for the show? Because he likes it? Is that the reason? I'm losing faith in humanity.
Well, he finds it entertaining, so he can just overlook.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
this.
yeah. That's
He-
probably
that's what
right.
he said.
That's the
That just
Hawkins
excuses
razor.
everything he says.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Feel like Fallout's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, you like that? You like that shit? And there's never a moment like that. Everything feels natural.
You just did that though. It's why? It's 5 seconds apart.
He's saying there's never a moment where it's like so in your face and blatant. But yeah, the thumbs
Yes, there
up,
is.
so it does.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Like, we gotcha.
It's just the right amount. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the entire show. I'm going to mention some references, Easter eggs.
Oh,
and
here we go,
cameos
gentlemen.
That I thought were really fucking cool. So if you want to have those oh shit moments yourself, skip to the timestamp. All right, now that it's just me and you, me and the real Fallout fans.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry,
let's do this.
got me.
I can't believe you said that.
I've been hearing the phrase real fans so fucking often. And it's like, it's, I'm sorry, but it is from both sides. It's like, oh my God, this show, like, you have to be a real fan to understand how good it is and to enjoy it. You're not a real fan, or oh my God, this show is ass. Only the real fans can recognize that it's so bad. It's like, guys, listen, you don't have to be a real fan or whatever to recognize that this is bullshit. All
Well,
right.
it's funny that
Like,
you say that because I've heard it like a no-win situation where, uh, if you think it was bad, well then you're not a real fan because the games totally explain a lot of this stuff. It's in line with the games, or you didn't like it because because you're not a
Don't you mean
because
you?
your interpretation is a as a toxic fan. You're basically looking too hard at the games, expecting everything to line up with your expectations. So you're fucked either way.
That's kind of that's like organized chaos would say, like, oh no, you're just writing your
Either
fan
you're
fiction.
too much of a fan or you're not a fan.
Yeah, like you're just writing fan fiction now. It's like, come on, man. It's like, why can't we just judge it for the way it is? And also, but still, we can't really do that, really, because they said it was canon. And if the canon parts is a rank con, then yeah, I kind of agree with the people. It's like, yeah, you're not a. I think it's more true that if you're a fan, you won't like this. Like,
yeah, if I had to pick one, like gun to my head, I had to pick, I'd say, yeah, if like real fans probably wouldn't like it. Like if I had to pick. I don't like that phrase getting thrown around a lot because it's like it's starting to tie like put people into groups when you don't need to be in a group like, oh, I'm part of this group. That
we
means
don't
I
need to be
must think this about
tribes.
the show.
Yeah, it's
No, no,
like,
no, no. You guys can all be regular people and look at it and think, wow, how the fuck did he walk 400 miles on a broken foot like that? Like that's you don't need to be part of an in group to recognize the things going on in the show.
oh man, don't you know there was a piece of stim pack on the glass, so he was able to walk that far.
Yeah, but it didn't heal his foot.
I
It didn't
know.
heal.
I'm just
Didn't help the
being
guy
a
with the prosthetic grinder.
prosthetic grinder. That one's so wrong.
How else am I supposed to describe that thing? It's a
I don't know.
fucking
It just
kitchen
sounds
grinder.
wrong.
It's a garbage disposal, but it goes on your foot. Why does that exist?
Oh man, illegal. Anyways,
How about that fucking Mr. House cameo? That was awesome.
Yeah,
And all those
let's
scenes-
talk about that Mr.
okay,
House
let's do
cameo.
it.
Yeah, so Mr. House, Fallout New Vegas, he says that he ran simulation after simulation to try to find out when the bombs would drop, and he got it down to within a week. And he was doing all of his preparations to save as much of the city as he could, because he didn't think it was within his power to save the world, so he'd protect what he could. And because he did that, he had all these preparations ready, so when Fallout New Vegas takes place, there's still a city there, and there's still robots, and things are still ready. But in the show, he says that the end of the world is profitable, and he had no idea when the end was coming, and he was reliant on Vault Tech telling him when it was coming. So he is an idiot, and his motivations changed, and that's all of that happened just so we could have a cameo.
Because the themes of
Retcon's
capitalism.
Character assassinated one of the
bad.
best characters in the entire series, just so we can have our cake and eat it.
Yeah, it's like and it's all based off, like, he's on that round table full of those people who's like, yeah, we're capitalists, so we need to make money. Like, it's so
We
bad.
need to make money by just destroying
and like cripple the economy. That's how we make
killing
money.
off all our customers is the way we're gonna win the game of capitalism.
Yep.
Mind
Exactly. When everyone's dead, no one is. Wait.
I'm running out of steam. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm having a what?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm running out of steam.
Let's get to the next.
Yeah.
Where Norm is like, you know, on computer terminals. I was just waiting for the hacking screen to pop up, and when it did, oh, I don't know. How about that fucking Mr. House cameo? That was awesome. And all those
I didn't
scenes
touch
where
it.
Norm
Skip?
is like, on
No, it
computer
went back.
terminals, I was just waiting for the hacking screen to pop up, and when it did, I don't know why I got so hyped on that. I was like, there's no way
okay,
Norm's gonna
stop,
fucking
right there,
crack this
right there. All right, it's not on screen anymore. But that hacking thing, yeah, okay, pretty neat, right? If you take a look at
There it is.
the
There it
mix
is.
of words, when this
Wagons.
hacking mini game, all the words are supposed to be the same size, right? So we see CKS, 3 letters, not a word, GE, 2 letters, not a word, Rugrat, System SS, humans. These are not all the same size words, right? Like late, LATE, 4 letters.
Ear.
Dream. I don't know what a dream is. Yeah, like
Ear.
there's
All.
this. If you want to say, wow, they pulled this from the games, well, they fucked it up then. Like they got a surface level almost, but this isn't actually a hacking screen. This is something you cannot see in the games because this actually goes against how hacking works in the games. In the games, you get your word combinations, and then you pick one, you use up one of your attempts remaining, and then you look at the word, it tells you how many letters were correct in the correct order, and then you go through the other words to pick the right answer. In this, the words are all different sizes and shapes and whatever. So I paused this when I was watching, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what difficulty is this terminal at, so I could guess what level Norm is at, because, yeah, I'm a fucking nerd. I thought it was neat. And then I realized, oh, this is a bunch of gibberish. This isn't even how it works. This is nothing. So, yeah, they couldn't even get that right.
The small little details, yep, he said that were really good. Like, this goes against that, too.
There's no way Norm's gonna fucking crack this password. And then, of course, he did. But Norm has obviously specced into science and...
I'm sorry. I love that comment. He's like, there's no way. Oh, he did. It's like, wow, your comedy matches the show. Like,
to be fair to Norm, because I think Norm is the best character in this show.
Sure.
It does say early on that he did work with the IT department. So he does have experience with computers. So that helps.
He wasn't.
And
so Actman wasn't paying attention. All right.
Actman wasn't paying attention, and the door to the overseer's office should have been locked because the overseer knew that he was in the IT department and knew that he was being suspicious because she told him very clearly to tread lightly. So, yeah, everything surrounding that moment is garbage, and the hacking thing itself is garbage. It's just Norm is a pretty decent character. Doesn't save the scene.
In isolation, yeah, he's good.
Intelligence, little stuff like that, just it gets people excited. One of my favorite lines of dialogue that summarizes Fallout and Elder Scrolls better than any sentence ever has.
What about the head? I need the head to get my dad back.
Yeah, well, the Wasteland's got its own golden receipt.
Oh, what's that?
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
Bruh, it's
okay. So he's talking about side quests, getting sidetracked by things. Side quests are optional. That's not what happened in this scene. This was, you were doing the main quest, and then something happened, so you were required to go do something else. Required, you have to go do it, so that is also part of the main quest. It's tied to the main quest. So
yes.
That's not how the games work either. There you go.
Yeah, it's
the best thing you can say as a side quest. Yeah. The best thing you can say for a side quest is probably going off to find his ghoul buddy that he ate his ass out. That could have been a side quest, but they don't use that line when that scene happens. So nope, that doesn't count either.
Games. I also thought it was hilarious when Knight Titus is fighting the Yao guy, and he just starts running away like fuck, shit. Because even when you have power armor, that still happens in the games. That moment when
and then he shows a death claw, not a Yao Guai. Wow, imagine that. Because a Yao Guai could die in like 1 or 2 shots, so he showed a death claw from New Vegas where they were actually dangerous. Jesus Christ.
That's I don't know if that's I don't know. I still think this is incompetence. I don't know.
Yeah, that's... I don't think he intentionally made it as retarded as it looks.
Yeah,
but
of course.
He just showed more fucking... yeah, poor choice.
So, What did he
Maybe
mean?
he wrote that down in his script, and then when his editor was trying to find a clip, went, "Wait a minute, this
I think
doesn't look scary at all."
I
He said
think
scary.
I
I'll
think
take it
he's
down.
an editor on his own stuff. But I don't know that for sure. But yeah.
That doesn't really help his case now, does it?
No, it
That's
doesn't.
rough.
But I don't know that for sure. Take that with a grain of salt, you know.
In Vault 4, and she holds up the NCR flag as the Fallout theme plays.
God, all these moments,
Yeah.
I cringed and I hated them. Like,
I'm gonna be
you
honest.
didn't deserve this.
Even
Fan service
even
done
as
right.
much as I
Fan
was
service done
furious,
right.
even as mad as I was during this show, when she flipped the flag up and I saw the NCR Ranger helmet, I pointed, I clapped, I saw the thing. I got my body got the tingles when like you hear a good song, and I was actually mad at my body for having that reaction.
It
Because it
was
was like,
much
you saw
better.
what they were doing around this. You know the context. You know it's wrong, but
It was much better out of
it was fan
for me.
service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I get the imagery, the music, it all works.
Mhm.
But
It's just everything around it. It's they found a childhood friend of yours, and they wanted to big reveal to show your old childhood friend. But first, they shot him in the face, so they propped up his corpse, and so a part of you is like, "Oh my god, that's my old childhood friend." But you know, deeper down, you know, wow, they just murdered him and dragged his corpse out here to show me. It's kind of like that, you know, maybe not as extreme, but like that.
Holy crap, demonetized. Anyways. No, I was kidding. I don't get monetized anyway. Joke's on you.
Spoilers over. Another way they pay fan service is through the music, ripping some of the most iconic tracks from the game.
Why did he say that in a positive connotation of like ripping? It's like,
not even true.
Victor, do you want to take that one?
That's just not true.
The yodeling.
Most of the songs are not even on the radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
They're just similar like tracks. I think maybe the Ink Spots one was the only one I recognized.
Man, I am also kind of on Steam. Like
they didn't use any music from the games. If you're not counting one or two songs that don't play unless you have the radio on. So just no, they didn't.
They got the list of best bops from the series in here. They have music that was featured in the games, but also entirely new tracks. And they fit so well within the scenes that I'm like, did they come up with
They
this?
don't fit that well. No, they really don't fit that well. It's a tonal clash. It's trying to have their dark humor, happy-go-lucky all the time when the scene does not call for that tone. It's like, oh, all these people are dying. This is a good place for a soundtrack. Like, oh, this character's having like an emotionally charged moment. Let's drown it out with music. Like, it does not fit.
I think, man, it's kind of funny. I wish they had like a Joker in here who's like, it's like, this isn't right.
Yeah, we went over it.
Song for this scene because it always seems to match the lyrics with what's happening on screen. It's uncanny. When Maximus and Lucy are walking along some railroads, it plays a version of I've Been Working on the Railroad. There's a ton of examples.
Wow.
Watch the show yourself and see how many you can
wow,
find.
railroad.
What? What? Is this a promotion? Like,
yes.
I mean,
you think he's getting paid? That is the real
absolutely
question.
think he's getting paid for this. After what I've seen here, the sloppy nature of what he's praising versus what he is forgiving. He's just going like, look, they're doing all the thing. Look at the thing he vadered.
And then
That's
not only
the
that,
type of stuff he's praising.
he
And then
did like
he
told you, looked at the screen, pointed to you, and said, "Hey, you need to find all the songs yourself." Like, and then it's like, what? Like you're telling me to watch this show just because like I need to find songs and little Easter eggs? What are you 13? Like, it's like it's so like surface level, like bad. It like bad things, bad advice to give the people.
I haven't heard him say one bad thing about the show.
No, not really.
I think at the
sort
best,
of
like the worst thing
Yeah.
he said has been, well, they go kind of crazy with some of the shot, like some of the scenes. You know, it's like that. I mean, if that's negative, I don't know. I don't
It
think so.
it sounded positive to me.
He addressed, all he did was address, quote unquote, some of the criticisms. He didn't give any criticism.
He brought it up, and then it's like and then
dismissed it.
and then he throw them away like it's a wet paper towel or something. It's so weird how it's like he like brushes it aside. It's like it the ideas sort of get away, like so weird.
You might notice that the outro for each episode has that slow moving zoom out that you see at the start of Fallout 3 New Vegas and the first game. It's such a nice detail. The show
That's not no. You can't compare.
So he's not going to cover what they actually show in those scenes. He's just going to say that the style in which they did it
Yeah, I'm
is
like,
similar.
Is that
That's
really?
all he's doing?
That's a stretch. I'm sorry, but that's not a reference. Nah, I don't think so. I think you're stretching it.
In those scenes, they show a library book that was checked out in 2276. And then the school is abandoned and the locker is just left open, which helps further show that the bombs dropped before New Vegas happened. In those end scenes, they show the New Vegas Strip falling apart with holes in it and a broken NCR vertibird just laying in the middle of the street, which shows that some horrible shit happened to New Vegas afterwards. He's not going to address that. He's just going to say it panned slowly, so it's good.
Yep.
Totally up for interpretation.
Reference. Yeah. It's like, look, it's a power armor. Like, yeah.
does a really great job of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you see, if those end credit scenes aren't canon, then it's good because it's a cool end credit scene. And if it does happen, it's also good because
no matter what, it's good.
You know, it showed us what was gonna happen. It's all good.
Yeah, it's well, no, not only is it good, it's unbelievably good.
Heck yeah.
Of exploring the themes of Fallout in new and interesting ways. It's a very deep narrative that
The
you feel
theme
rewarded
of-
for paying attention. There's a lot of foreshadowing that can probably go over your head.
Overshadowing that goes over your head. Overshadowing
The
that goes
theme
over your
of capitalists will nuke the world to make more money.
Yeah,
the end state of capitalism is the destruction of the entire world. You know, I love how this show constantly has to keep addressing the faults of capitalism and the end states of capitalism because we already know what happens at the end state of communism. So
you can't talk about bad about communism.
They do address communism. They do address communism. They criticize communism. If you remember, the guy that is set up to be proven wrong makes a breadline joke, and then somebody calls him a fascist.
That's true.
And it's like, what? Like, that's it though. That's it. But it's considered that it's on the tone of like of the theme is like, no, but you see the capitalists are wrong because they want to end the world. It's like that's the satire, I guess, of it, or the dark humor of it. It's like, yeah, but it's really crap. Like it's really badly written. It's too on the nose.
Watching it a second time, you'll be like, oh. Now, I haven't played
really like
games,
what?
But I believe that
I watched it a second time. I was like, wait, did the ghoul just teleport?
It's kind of
how the fuck did that happen?
It's kind of funny how like he's never mind.
a lot of the pre-war stuff that happened is rarely covered in Fallout or shown. The show does a fantastic job of swapping between past and present and seeing how things led to nuclear war, who was responsible, why the way backstory is woven into
Does
what's
it?
happening in the present
No,
is
it doesn't. We don't really get to see how the events led up to nuclear war. We're just told
We're just told
that
why.
we are
Mm.
planning to nuke the entire United
Ourselves.
States.
Because we can't blame China.
Told, not shown, and we are told and shown and all of that shit. We are shown the perspective of an actor in Hollywood, then an
Mhm.
actor at his home, and then a mansion, and then an actor at the Vault Tech headquarters. We are not shown the ordinary life. We are not shown how the normal people live. We are not shown what happens to the ordinary person pre-war.
Or even
We
a
are shown
soldier, really. Like,
the top
yeah.
1% of people and how Vault Tech nuked everybody so they can make more money. They nuked all their customers because that's how capitalism works.
I mean, this guy's even more niche when you think about it, because his wife is on that board discussing this exact event.
Mm-hmm. And he performs business, like, espionage. Like, because some woman said, like, lol, your wife's evil. It's like, good stuff.
phenomenal. You slowly understand what's happening in the present and how what happened in the past caused the bombs to drop. The Fallout show may have some flaws.
I'm still not sure what happened.
Hold
in
on.
that
I
vault.
need to go back.
Like, I know in that vault, like, they learned the truth of whatever I don't know how much of the truth they learned, but, like, they learned something, and then they killed the overseer, which, yeah, I'm on board. That makes sense so far. And then they started killing each other, and then hanging themselves. Like, I don't follow. So,
Oh, yeah.
it
Why would the
it
Raiders
doesn't
leave the
explain
bodies?
anything. It doesn't show what happened, how it led to that. No, it's just like, wow, that's crazy. Moving on. Like, hold on, how the fuck did any of this happen?
Yeah, like, why would the Raiders not hide the bodies? Why would they not want a clean vault? Like,
Like, you have to assume the Raiders got there, went, ooh, gross, and then immediately went to the next vault. Like, because there's no way they lived there.
oh, well, not live there, but, like, they would, if, oh, I see, okay. My bad.
Who was responsible? Why? The way backstory is woven into what's happening in the present is phenomenal. You slowly understand what's happening in the present and how what happened in the past caused the bombs to drop. The Fallout show may have some flaws, and people who,
Yeah.
really care about the lore may not care for it, but it's extremely faithful to the source material. For me,
How did you
these things?
How do you say that thing
both
back
those
to back?
back to back?
Yeah.
Holy
He
shit.
did it. He did it again, except he did it faster.
Yeah, I
Look.
know. You can't say those
Listen.
things. Those are contradictory statements.
Look, if you care about the lore, if you care about the world, you might not like this. But it's perfect.
It's
Like,
perfect with
holy
that,
fuck.
but it's
It is
perfect with that
faithful.
world. It's like, wait,
It's faithful to Fallout.
it's faithful to Fallout, but that has lore inconsistencies. These two things don't connect. Like, these are magnets. They're, like, yeah, they repel each other because they're not supposed to collide. Like, they're polar opposites. Good stuff.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, it's
boggles the mind.
Mm-hmm. Like, your ability to absorb media has been tainted, Mr. Actman.
For me, it's everything and more I could have hoped to see from a Fallout show. At least a Fallout
Wow, your
show that
standards are
runs
low.
for 8 hours. Can't fit everything into a single season. And can I just say, the ending, the final shot. For me, the show does so much right that
I saw New Vegas and I
needs to be
clapped.
Yes, exactly.
I saw it and I
So many
clapped.
people-
You know, a lot of people saw that and was like, holy shit, everything they did to the NCR, everything they did to Fallout, now they're going to do it to New Vegas directly? Are you kidding me? That's the reaction a lot of people had. Not
Yeah,
this
we
guy,
don't
though.
even-
He saw it,
we
went,
don't-
wow, I clapped. I saw it.
We don't
I
even
saw
get to
the
speculate that on things that might not have happened. No, we get to see all of it. Fuck.
Oh, no.
my brain. When the audience knows and can feel the passion you have for the source material, and you clearly respect
Whoa.
it,
Stop.
you can get away with some mistakes. This is a show that
some mistakes.
Some mistakes. All right.
Some mistakes.
Will he list literally anything? Will he say
mentioned one thing they did wrong?
Are you? That's like the reason why I think this is a sponsored video, because like, man, this is like, you know, you could do a feelings video that's better than this because I've seen him do it before. That's the thing. It's like he's done, like, when is Halo a masterpiece or whatever? He definitely left out the flaws and said that they were good in some ways. But at least he addressed the problem with like the library and like the missions after that. But it's like, holy crap, dude, this is not even coming close to even approaching anything negative. Not even close.
There's another review I watched. The guy's name is Rad King. He's a Fallout guy. He puts out a lot of content about mostly Fallout 4. Rad King, yeah, he makes good stuff. I watched his review on the Fallout show, and he called it the good, bad, and the ugly. And his criticisms were very, very tame. And a lot of it was, hey, this is what people are saying. This is the situation. So it wasn't really taking sides. And my best guess is he did that because his whole channel, his audience, it's geared for give us positivity, give us the good stuff, be happy about things. So it seems like he wanted to address it without saying that, yeah, this is bad. But the thing I had a problem with was like, okay, yes, this you addressed, they moved Shady Sands from point A to point B, but that's all you said. You didn't say what that affected. Why that changed? What did that change? Did that affect like the story or the tone or the themes of the older games? Like what changed there? He didn't address any of that. It was like, oh man, that's not very good. But
that's
malicious. At least he talked about it. This guy here, he's not even.
He didn't even come close. Yeah, but still,
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave a map in the chat if you want to look at it later, Falco, of the entirety of the NCR territory, just so you can understand.
To be honest,
why it's so insulting that
the
show is telling us the entire NCR is essentially annihilated when you bomb one of their cities.
So as soon as this is over, I'm gonna go rest and then order a pizza because I am way out of steam on this already, and
I can summarize that map for you really quickly. Imagine the entire state of California with like 8 major cities, and they're all, you know, doing really well, and then one of those cities disappears. Do you think the entire state would fall into cannibalism? Because that's what happened.
700,000 citizens.
Hang on a little bit. I need to leave again. I'll be right back. We're taking a break, and so I'll leave you on the pause screen real quick. Yeah, that's right. We have a pause screen. Yeah.
Well, I'm
less
looking at
than
the map
60 seconds left. Oh, you're bailing?
No, I'm looking at the map.
Gotcha.
Just while he's gone. Because I really like looking at this.
It's a nice looking map. I like how they moved Shady Sands into the city, and as far as a lot of people's criticisms go, or sorry, that's not right. People talking about the show that will acknowledge the problems, but still won't say that the show is bad outright. They'll say, yes, they moved Shady Sands from point A to point B, but they never mention that like Shady Sands was built up in the middle of nowhere. It was people post-apocalyptic out in the wastes, and they're like, all right, we're going to build a village, we're going to rebuild using the things around us. They weren't dependent on the old world. The most they had, I think they had a Gek that helped them start the farms. But after that, it was like all the structures were new. They were like made by hand. They had walls. They had like their full city made from like the earth and from everything around them and stuff. It wasn't scrap yards. It wasn't junk yards. It was like new stuff that they made. And like that became the capital of the NCR. That was New World, not dependent on the old world. But then in the show,
I know
they moved Shady Sands into the middle of the city. It's like you're just you're erasing the whole why it was important where it was. You're missing that entire aspect of it, and people won't talk about that.
Okay, sorry, but like, yeah, I know we have very little time left in the video, but I'm like, sorry, what my water intake has been a lot, so.
Yeah, my leg is bouncing. I feel you.
If you guys need to take a break or something, that's fine. Like, but we are very close.
No way. We're wrapping up here.
Yeah, boy.
I can finish this.
Let's go.
1 minute.
And to pretty much everyone, fans of Fallout, gaming fans who have never played Fallout, or people that don't even play video games, take notes of other video game adaptations. This is how you tap into the elusive broader audience. By staying true to what made the source material appeal to a broader audience.
You know,
what made it appeal to the broader audience is not the in-game assets. It's not the music from the game. It's not even the gore. It's the fucking world. It's the stories. It's the characters. It's not the little shit that you can compliment in this show.
True. Plus, he praised other video game adaptations in the beginning.
Oh, you're not showing the video. You're still on background noise.
Oh, I am? Oops. I apologize.
Good catch, Sunlee.
Oops. Well, me am dumb. I apologize. There it is. All right.
All you missed was Actman looking at the camera. There weren't any visuals in there to explain his...
You're not showing...
Is that an
Thank
argument?
you, Sunlee. Thank you. I appreciate you. So anyways.
In the first place. I cannot wait for the next season. I am looking forward to it. I have just been installing a bunch of mods to go replay New Vegas again. There's a lot of potential in the Fallout show. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Who is your favorite?
Okay. So if you leave a comment or anything like that, if you go take this video down, be constructive. Please. Don't be that guy. It's like, oh, you suck. Like, and stuff like that. But whatever.
No way.
Do whatever you want.
Honestly, it's a waste of time to leave a comment on this video.
Really? Why is that?
Because the people who like this video are the exact type of people who are going to tell you that you're obsessed. And that you just can't, like, I've been told Fallout fans hate everything that they see. Fallout fans can't enjoy something. Fallout fans can't decide on what to cry about next, simply for stating that they don't think the show is good.
Well, you know,
I've heard that nobody hates Fallout like Fallout fans.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's the classic. Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars
fans. It's stupid. I hate everything.
Yes.
Comment.
I can't believe these people who are so
invested,
passionate about and invested. They hate this one thing.
It's like, yeah, you mean that thing we've been in for so long before you came along, poser? It's like
I would even consider myself like
a Fallout fan.
Hating. I'm a Fallout fan, but I don't like hate the show. I just think it's bad.
Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. I'm just speaking for myself. Like, there are certain things that made my blood boil. But if someone was like, "Hey, do you hate this show?" It's like, it's not like how I felt when I watched the Star Wars sequels. I hate those movies, because they're tied into other, like, directly tied into good movies that I know. This I can kind of divorce it just slightly because it's like an adaptation. I know we've already gone over how it ties in retcons, but like mostly I would say it ties into the lore going forward. I can completely ignore it if I'm just playing New Vegas because I'm like, well, this happens mostly after that. So this is an alternate timeline. And it's a game, so I can kind of disconnect.
Yeah, like I call that the golden timeline, and this is the poop tier timeline.
But I mean, I have a friend or two who are like, they know everything about the Fallout lore, and they are fucking pissed.
They should be.
Like,
why are you allowed?
watching.
I don't get it. Why some people are allowed to care, but if you're negative, you're not allowed to care that much anymore because you're negative. It's such, it's all backwards.
I'm playing New Vegas right now, and every time I come across like, oh man, you guys really need some help, and I want to help you, but I know what happens to you in like 10 years, or in like 2 years, or actually a year ago, but so it doesn't actually matter. Doesn't matter if I help you or not. Doesn't matter. The whole thing's getting nuked. Fuck it. Like, I know what happens to these people. I know what's going to happen next because of everything this show did. So it's like I can try to push it out of my mind. It's still there. They still did this. That's why I'm so upset about it.
Yeah, of course. Like, and then they made, oh yeah, it's Canon. Then Phillips, whatever. Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips. But like Todd Howard is like, it's fine. It's like, it's like you have to love it when like creators create a new movie or that's a part of their IP, but then they cancel that timeline later on in their life, like with Terminator or like with like Alien. It's like, don't worry, those you know that third one, we're gonna decanonize it. It's like, yeah, but you already decanonized like something else. It's like, it's just so weird. I keep saying weird, but it is. It's strange.
Anyway.
It's dumb.
Favorite character? What was your favorite scene? Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe.
The credits.
To the
My
for more
favorite
awesome
scene?
content.
No.
Also, come join the Axe Clan and engage in some tomfoolery. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Actman signing out. Peace.
Cringe.
My favorite scene is when they fired missiles at the Brotherhood of Steel Vertibirds, and at least like 2 knights and a bunch of people died. That was actually my favorite scene. My second favorite was
All right.
probably when
Done.
Max got into his power armor suit and was about to kill all those retarded Vault 4 people. I really like that too.
That was great.
So yeah, this is the outro now. So it's like I'll be last, but you guys go first about what you're doing, shout out stuff, all that good stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'll go. Could be
Mhm.
quick. I run a small channel. Occasionally I'll post memes on it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty inconsistent, so
Mhm.
if you subscribe, just know that well, the content is not going to be very consistent. It's not really my main focus, but
It's a
we
hobby,
do
right?
we do a little trolling.
Yeah.
That's about it for me.
I've it's kind of funny you mentioned that with like what was it, Trungos commercial for the EFAT meme or whatever.
Mhm.
Your outro is the very beginning of that video on the EFAP highlights. So it's like, yay. It's just like so
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
so how about you, Master Ficus? What you up to?
I ain't doing nothing right now. I'll probably cover Furiosa when it comes out. I'm hoping it's gonna be good. The trailer had a few red flags, nowhere
Yep.
near as many as the Fallout trailer had. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping it's good. I'm optimistic.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, he makes videos as well as the rest of us. What kind of videos do you make?
Depends on what I'm feeling like. Mostly games, movies. Sometimes I'll touch on locations or whatever.
Reviews or what?
You're gonna, huh?
Reviews, I should say, or like.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Reviews of games, movies, and stuff.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm gonna be making a video on gay war poets. Don't know when I'm gonna do that, but definitely gonna do it.
Okay. That
I
sounds
don't know. It's
nifty.
just whatever interests me.
Sounds nifty. So I'm gonna put those later on today. I'm gonna put the links down in the in description, and you guys do the check them out if you guys want, or whatever. And we'll see you guys later.